I look at the notes section to see if there's any writing on it. And if there is, it's just like, I love that shit. I love knowing that someone actually used the notes section in a manual.
Hell yes.
One of my favorites is I have a Legend of Zelda, I think it's 2, Adventure of Link. Someone wrote at the end, this game is pretty good. That's it.
That's a good note. Jorge, Casey had actually asked me a really nice question while you were going to the bathroom because of the
Wait, why you gotta out me like that?
Because of the half-gallon of coffee you just drank from the Quick Trip.
It's not even done. I'm like half gallon down. Yeah.
You're going to feel terrible in like
or amazing.
2 hours.
One of the two.
Anyways, Casey was asking how Wonderfest and Momocon was.
It was a lot.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
my
so
goodness.
tired.
It turns out I'm older than I once was.
Yep. I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have that con energy anymore. I don't have that con in me.
I like took like 2 drinks one night and I'm like, I feel terrible the next morning. It's awful. To be fair, also I've just been working a lot and interacting with a lot of people, so that's probably like adding a good 4 or 5 drinks worth of fatigue on there. So whatever. But yeah, no, Wonderfest. For anyone that doesn't know, Wonderfest is a twice-a-year Japanese.
Kyle, you gotta call it Wonder Festival.
Wonder Festival, excuse me.
Because Wonderfest in the U.S. is a different thing.
Yes.
I found this out the other day, sorry.
Though it's also figurines. But anyways, it is a twice-a-year Japanese festival, kind of like Comic-Cat, but specifically for DIY figurines, custom sculpted stuff that you're making a limited run of. Usually in the Japanese one, there's a one-day license that you can get in order to sell basically like anything that's approved that you wouldn't normally have access to for copywritten stuff. So that's really cool. You can do like Dark Souls figurines and stuff. And because it's just limited to only the event, all bets are off basically. There's just a sort of an agreement. But they weren't able to do that for Momocon, but it meant that everyone had original figures, and that actually was significantly cooler. So just like everyone's personalities really came out when you like walk by a booth and you're like, this is all like weird vacuum and upholstery robots. This next person is like all interesting icons of Vietnamese culture. And Jorge, you had to like learn about like Vietnamese gambling games in order to understand the different like creatures he was
dice
selling.
Games. That's one of the ones I got, was a little crab guy from a Vietnamese sculptor. You told me all about that traditional. I cannot remember what it's called now, so I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, that little crab is in my. It's like right around like my doorway now in front. So I got
a little diving bell with crab claws. I got a spooky slime guy. I got a Flatwoods monster. I got a little star guy with a robe.
Shit.
I got 4 little guys.
It's called Bao. I can't even pronounce that right, but I did my best. There you go.
Is that the name of the game?
Yeah, the dice game that the little crab guy was based on. I should shout him out, or at least put a link in the description for it.
Definitely, yeah. I can collaborate that as well for all the people that we saw. But yeah, it was awesome. The word I keep using is heartened. Everyone was just so excited to be there because I think like money wise we weren't expecting much, but everyone did pretty well, and I think it was more about just being there. And so I'm excited to really push the community angle of that. We'll see how next year goes, but I'm already thinking about that, so that's a good sign. And people loved my cryptid creatures, my monster mamas. So I was very delighted to see that.
It felt really good to be in a. Like for how I hate to say it, but for how corporate Momocon has become, it was nice to be in a space that was like more community driven. So that was refreshing to see, and I even picked up some zines from like other Wonder Festival vendors there.
I saw you reading mine, and then you immediately got up and bought more. So
yeah, it was the Art Mick one you got from. Oh my god, I should know his name. Let me get it real quick.
Oh, I have it. It's Zimmerit. Zimmerit.
Oh yeah, Colony Drop. Hey, Sean.
That one.
Oh,
yes.
you know them?
Yeah. I've known Sean from the anime community for a long time.
Sean, yes.
Yes.
These zines fucking rule. They're very well put together.
Yeah.
I'm holding the art. Oh, I hit my mic. Sorry. I hold my art Mon in my hand right now because they talk about one of my favorite animes that no one ever talks about called Genocyber, and I actually got to learn a little bit about it.
I get to learn that once again, I am proven right, and everything ties back to Megazone 2-3.
A buddy of mine who goes by Space Leech, Renzo Adler, also published a thing through Zimmerit's zines about 80s and 90s horror OVAs recently.
Yeah, I was very
awesome.
tempted to get that one, but I was spending too much money.
I think they had it actually there. Yes. I should have picked them all up, man. I got the Gynax one and the Artmic one at least. So I love that the Gynax zine opens up with like I'm actually quite frankly tired about talking about Gynax. It's like, okay, this might be good.
I also, Jorge, you did your first panel.
Wait, we can plug that later.
Okay.
I do have
we'll do that at the
I do have a question for you because when you announced you were making Monster Mamas, like I feel instinctively as someone with family from West Virginia that I am meant to hear that in John Denver's voice from Country Roads. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, 1,000,000,000%. I'm very happy with the copywriting I did for Mountain Mama Monsters. One of them is like a retired like B-movie 50s actress, and I had to come up with a bunch of names for like cheesy movies of that era, and it was Mountain Mama Monsters, Attack of the 8-Foot-Tall Woman, and Palachia.
Oh wow.
That's nice. I've never done like original characters before, so it's like really flattering.
I like John Denver a lot.
I know.
Actually.
I've been I just like Japan. I also love that song.
No. I liked John Denver before I liked anime, so I'm proud of that fact.
They love it. They love that
They
song.
do. No, I'm not kidding when I say when we had our big company-wide meeting, we invited some of the Japan folks to Tucson, and we did karaoke on the last night. And one of the Japanese employees was like, "Do you guys know this song?" And she picked the John Denver Country Road, but the Japanese version that someone else did a cover
Oh, that's
for.
cool.
Yeah. And then we're like, of course we know this song. What are you talking about?
See, I know as a descendant of Appalachians who's way into anime, like I accept that the alternative can be true, that Japanese people can be into this piece of Appalachia.
It's interesting how that one crossed the ocean and became kind of
Take Me Home, Crunchyroll, anime.
Oh, stop!
Naruto.
Stop!
Welcome to Brain Lords,
Yeah, give us
video
the
games
intro.
of the mind, a panel-style discussion between artists and the
Eject
art they
button.
love. I'm your host, Kyle. I go by Q Monster Props, and I'm an SFX artist for the video games industry. I work at Vulpin Props, making trophies for major esports tournaments, as well as life-size items, weapons, and characters from your favorite video games. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jorge. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Jorge. I'm coffeeed up today. And also running on fumes simultaneously. I'm part-time co-host and full-time illustrator, graphic designer. I am currently working with my friends at Fangamer, making video game merchandise and publishing your favorite indie games. We just launched the Deltarune
launched a
Chapter
lot.
3 and 4 vinyls. Please get those. Actually,
my
don't.
God.
I don't know if we still have them.
I saw the post from like Wario64 or something. I think I bought it within like 4 minutes of the launch.
I was sure to get them. I especially love Chapter 4 soundtrack. Like that.
No, they're very good. You launched a
very
lot,
well.
actually, because there's the Mina the Hollower plush.
That launched?
I
I actually
thought.
didn't know.
I assumed it would be day and date.
Oh, you saw the promo we had.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Mina plush soft launch at PAX, but it is not yet available at the store. Maybe as of this recording, it will be.
Okay. No, I didn't see it on the site, but where's my paycheck, Reed?
But stop asking Reed for things. He does not know about the show, please.
It's okay, Jorge, it's okay. I'm not asking.
Oh my god.
This is the first one he's ever going to listen to, you know.
I hope not. Hey, wait, who is that? That's a guest, Kyle. Who's here with us?
It's true. Yes, with us is a very special guest. He was predicted in Universal Century 47 and is really mucking up my radar systems. They hate it when people complain about the monster of the week. He's judging you at the American Manga Awards. He first appeared in the 3rd chapter of Mano Kakera. Minovsky, aka Casey, aka MinovskyArticle, aka Minov, aka Tomio the Red Turtleneck, aka honored guest on such podcasts as Explodes When Defeated, the One Piece podcast, and Sleazoids, aka Makuhita's biggest fan.
Aww. Yeah, that was lovely. Thank you.
We have another One Piece podcast person on our show. Is this the second time this happened?
It's like the Kevin Bacon of podcasts.
Yeah, the One Piece podcast maintains a really robust grand fleet is the thing. Like,
you've gotta with that many characters.
Yeah, shout out to Shannon Strucci, who is also on here.
Yeah, let's go. Shannon Strucci. I am trying to get Steve on the show.
Oh, it's gotta happen. I feel like it can happen.
I'm trying to get Steve. I've known him for a while, and I didn't even know he ran a podcast when I met him. It was just now that I'm doing this. It's like, oh shit, wait a minute. Doesn't he do that like the biggest One Piece podcast? But yeah, we'll get you on, Steve. I'm doing that one day. Oh, thanks for being here with us, Casey.
Happy to be here with the show by artists for artists. I am mainly an art appreciator, although I am teaching myself how to draw very gradually these days. Trying to get back into the swing of drawing that I really loved in elementary school and do not know why I ever gave up on. And you know what? Our today's topic played a lot into my early attempts at drawing, so I think it's a good time for me to be back into it and also back into discussing what we're talking about today.
I mean, I think it's a pretty universal truth that artists are very good at not feeling like they're artists, at least speaking on behalf of myself. But look, as long as you appreciate an art, you do an art, in my opinion.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I've been interested in meeting you for a long time because I follow you on social media for like years now, and
it's been many years since you and I have like been mutuals, correct? Like, I feel like I've known you for a long time indirectly.
It's one of those like, oh, you're cool, I'm gonna follow you, but we never really like hit each other up. I think the only time was when the you were mentioning the pins I did like years ago.
Yes.
I think it was the only time we ever like actually spoke to each other on like DMs or something. And then we did the mutual thing where we're like, okay, bye, and then just not really chat with each other. But I really like your outlook on things. I don't know.
You're a professional good taste haver.
And like I think that's how I started following you, was that you were one of the few people who were like really hyping up Ranking of Kings back when it was coming out. No, actually, that was after. But I remember you being like one of the few people that was like, y'all should watch Ranking of Kings. No one else is watching this. And I'm like, that's like the only 3 people whose taste I really trust have told me to do this. So I need to do this. And I did. And it's one of my favorite animes now.
Bocchi.
Oh, yeah. So.
Well, I it's funny. One of the things that really got me into posting more was that like I kind of came to it initially from like the comics and manga perspective, and I would read reviews of comics and things, and so much of it would be so focused on writing and plot discussion that I, as like an amateur, I wanted to better try to understand art and try to figure out ways to express art verbally, you know, and understand what I was seeing, even if I couldn't necessarily replicate it with my own hands. And so posting from that perspective became a big thing.
There's a serious lack of good criticism in the anime space that isn't strictly just like plot or like animation.
That's also why I started following you, because I was kind of it was at a time where like I really did need more nuance insight into like media, and I wasn't really getting a lot of that. So I appreciate your takes and your taste in manga, anime, and in general. I also really like like you just mentioned, you're getting back into art. I really like that you're so willing to do new things. I remember when I was like quietly watching your Street Fighter arc for a while, how you were training to play as Blanca. and I'm like, this person just picks up whatever. Is it true that you're into like a bird, like hawk?
Oh yeah.
Hawk, how do you? What,
falconeering?
Yeah,
so
falconeering. That's it's like hawkoneering. What do you call it?
I have a lot of curiosity about nature. I have my whole life, so that is going outside is a big thing for me, and exploring the local wilderness and
disgusting.
stuff. So I was a kid who loved bugs. I was a kid who loved like reptiles and all that stuff. I would go out and just find anything. But so I'm assuming you have seen the photos then of me holding a hawk on a glove.
Yes,
a falcon.
I did. It was amazing.
I didn't see these, and I did research on you.
So the first one happened because my partner, I had explained to them that it was a lifelong dream of mine to like be around those kind of birds because I loved so that was a surprise birthday gift once, was to do the first going out somewhere and getting to hold a falcon and let it fly on and off my arm for like an hour. And the second time, I'd happened to wear a shirt with embroidered, the embroidered crested caracara on it, which is a South American bird, which I love dearly.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
And while I was wearing that shirt, we happened to be at a festival where a handler of a crested caracara was there, looked at my shirt and thought I was in the industry. So he approached me and started like chatting me up as like a potential colleague, and I was like, no, I just like them. I don't, I just enjoy them. I read books and things. I don't. And so he was like, all right, I'll be right back. And he just showed back up with the glove and just let me hold this bird I'd been wearing on a shirt. And so,
incredible.
So yeah, I've only had 2 experiences with that, but yeah, it's just. I truly believe, though, if you have any curiosity at all, just go chase it. Like right now I'm trying to learn more about botany, just because like I'm looking at all the weeds in my neighborhood and going, that's interesting, and I don't know anything about these, so I'm gonna learn.
Yeah, I really need to just there's some like identifier apps you can do, and I really just need to get more familiar with like the local flora and fauna of Georgia. I feel like that would just make me feel a lot more connected to the place I live.
Georgia is
That's
incredible
awesome.
for that. Honestly, my partner and I were just vacationing a couple months ago in Georgia, the Okefenokee Swamp.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, that might be far from us actually, so never mind.
But that was an incredible experience too. We got to go on like a riverboat, surrounded by gators and owls and hawks and things, and it was all worth it. So, but yeah, so absolutely, I encourage you, if you were in Georgia, go find out what's around you and come back and tell me, because I'd love to know.
We will.
Oh yeah, no, oh my god, yeah, the Okefenokee Swamp is first of all, I'm going to say that at least 6 times this podcast. It's incredible. Great mouthfeel.
Yes.
Second of all, it's like it's like right on the edge of Georgia, like a couple hours below Savannah even. So yeah, that's like we are nowhere near that. It's basically on Florida.
Well, see, I grew up around the Great Dismal Swamp in Virginia. And so that is kind of
the Dismal Swamp.
Oh, it's the great the Great Dismal Swamp.
The Great Dismal Swamp.
Yes.
What RPG world are you living in?
That is definitely a Dark Souls level.
I once posted a photo of a jar of honey that was in a local butcher shop that had written on it, from the hive master of the Great Dismal Swamp, and everybody was like, "That is a Dark Souls boss,"
Incredible.
The fuck the health bar pops up.
But the Great Dismal and the Okefenokee, I just bring this up because the Okefenokee Swamp is the other largest on the East Coast swamp area that's protected in this country. So it's worth getting to know on your end as well. Yeah.
Do you think they have beef?
Thank you. You are
like
welcome
the
here.
people who take care of either swamp?
Oh, yeah.
There's
walking in with my
wars.
my Great Dismal Swamp t-shirt and at the Okefenokee park ranger's like, fuck this guy.
You're not welcome here. Get out of here with that shit.
All right. Well, why don't we get on to today's topic,
That's
which
amazing.
is the art of the video game manual. Games, especially early games, love to play in abstractions. The slimes aren't literally patiently waiting for their turn unless you're really stupid, but a guide can be a useful bridge to meeting those games at their level. The instruction manual, a paper portal to the inputs, story, and concepts you need to be completely engaged with the art. But with the tightening of budget and increase in more naturalistic tutorials, do we simply want these helpful tomes out of nostalgia, or is there something truly lost without paper in hand?
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. So this is an episode about our love of video game manuals. Where have they gone? Where are they going? And
where did they come from? Where did they go?
Would you happen to buy them, Cotton Eye Joe?
If it hadn't been for the Cubivore manual, I'd be married a long time ago. I don't know.
So I wanted to...
Is that a good one?
I wanted to say earlier when you were talking about like how you were really feeling the, you know, like the exhaustion and fatigue of having gone to a con, that if you're old enough to remember the manual at this point, like if you go out for a night of drinking or whatever, you're going to have a bad time the next morning. That is just
oh my God.
Yeah, that is just the age range that people who really know and love these things have found themselves in at this point.
As an enjoyer of drinks, I feel like every 10 years my limit changes and it just gets lower. At this point, I'm just like, you know what? 1 or 2 is the maximum now. That's all I'm gonna do.
All right. Well, speaking of being old, why don't we just get straight into our first topic?
Kyle. Get out of here.
So why did games have manuals?
With your
What's the basic history and context of the what's the basic history and context of the video game manual?
Yeah. Sorry, you going? Sorry.
No, I would just say that, like, I think we take for granted, especially maybe younger folks who might not have grown up in this era, but games do, especially these earlier games, if you just plug them in, they do a piss poor job of explaining themselves. And that's not how you're meant to interact with the thing. Like, it is a piece of software with rules, and it comes with a tutorial. Early ones would be more mechanical and strictly utilitarian, but by the time of, even late Atari, but especially around the NES era, this is when game manuals would have a lot more things like art, more things like typing up like the story on it, and really be more of like this portal into appreciating the video game, instead of just truly like how to operate the product that you bought.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, early manuals were just really a carryover from, like, electronics having, like, a standard user guide. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think, there was an expectation that you are supposed to read this thing.
There was, and that's why older games, people call retro games more obtuse and, like, we didn't have tutorials back then. It's because that shit was kind of not implied, it was included in the user instruction guide that would come with the video game itself, and you were supposed to read that before you played the game. I know it, like, now it seems like kind of like, why do I have to read a book before I play? I just want to play the game. So the tutorials are now baked in as a standard to the video game itself.
Yeah. I mean, and it would suck if you like got it secondhand and you just did not have access to the manual. But I think you're right. Like,
that was the case most of the time for.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume for everyone here, like, game rental was like the way you experience most games.
Casey, do you have the same? This is the thing I keep reading over and over and over again. Everyone's experience. Do you share this where you get the game? And on the car ride home, you're reading the manual, and there's like this building up of anticipation.
Oh yeah,
is this something you share?
That was the car ride home was the space to daydream about the game you have and what it could still be before reality, set in. Like, so
before it shocked you.
Yeah, even a game that you maybe didn't like you still had like that gap of time where you could just look at it and look at all the the concept art and character sketches, or as you said, snippets of plot, and that was information you really wouldn't get anywhere else. Like, there was no internet or anybody else to refer to, so like character names and all that would come from just that. Like, you'd read that and go like, okay, I know what this little henchman's name is now, so when I get killed by it, I can say like, oh, the claptrap got me, the Kremling,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Those chompy boys.
I do think that is as big a thing for the game manual as like talking about VHS covers at the video store is. It's the car ride home was the big thing. And if you were really obsessive, like, maybe you'd read it over and over again when you couldn't play the game. Like, you're just like still looking at it to just get a little bit of that more Megaman or whatever.
Well, especially in a lot of NES era stuff, like, a lot of the pixels were so scrunched in that, like, the manuals would have like hand-drawn concept art for what the items are actually supposed to be.
Sometimes they did. Sometimes they really just had the pixel art redrawn in black and white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It would either be like the most beautiful, like penciled in, like watercolor thing you'd seen each like individually for each item, or it would be the blurriest screenshot imaginable that like looks even worse than on your screen.
Those
but we
really,
loved it either way.
Those early manuals are really funny too, because like, going back and doing research for this topic, like it had me running back and looking at some of the manuals of my youth. And for example, for the outsized like space in my memory and imagination that the very early Mega Man manuals had, where it's like, oh man, I remember all the art for all the Robot Masters, and I was drawing my own based on that art. I could see there, like, it's just a tiny one page of like all 8 guys with no other information, and it's like, man, but I memorized that page and just assumed it was like there was one on each page. It was every page was these guys. No, it's just you get this one nice black and white page of them, and that's it.
Yeah.
But
that's not uncommon of just like introducing the characters. They just slap the concept on there like a full page, and it's just gorgeous for a lot of these manuals.
Yeah, I'd say it was just kind of born out of the necessity of a lot of games not necessarily having like the amount of memory or anything you'd need to squeeze in all these big ideas or narrative things or concepts and stuff they had, other than just like an intro and an outro. So you get it all here, and your imagination gets to fill in the gaps of what they couldn't do yet.
That's something I wanted to mention later, is that like a lot of the information that was like that is sort of standard now, like story bits, like background lore and like character bios, you didn't really have the chance to, you bring up a good point, it's probably a memory issue. You really didn't have a chance to like really get to know these characters unless you engage with the reading material.
Yeah, and as like games are sort of developing like the language, the verbs and the things like that, like these common parlances that we have, I think the manual is sort of a way for, after the game is functionally done, for you to kind of glue all of this stuff together to make sure that like there is a cohesive either message, theme, and also just a general understanding on how to control the thing, because we just hadn't had a lot of this stuff before. It had not been made yet ever. We don't have a lot of these like common understandings. Even just something as simple as like B to jump was not something that like you could take for granted.
I mean, speaking of things you don't take for granted, I mean, literally a lot of these open with a infographic step-by-step of how to turn on the system, and that you have to put the cartridge in to play.
It's funny, too, because a lot of these have, like, way better information than games nowadays. If you don't play video games, like, most modern video game controls are very complicated.
Oh, yeah. I definitely saw it with my, a lot of people in my parents' generation where like the more complicated games got, they kind of felt phased out by it. Whereas with all the information you could get in the manual, they could pick up and play and just kind of sort it out.
I think also there's like this understanding or this notion that older games just didn't teach you how to play them, or like the better games would like organically teach you how to play. And it's like, no, Mega Man just tells you how to charge the Buster. It's in the manual. You just read it. It's right there.
Well,
you're supposed to pick this stuff up. You're not supposed to like conjure or like or oh my god, what? Go on, Casey. I forgot what I was going to say.
I was going to say that also the idea that like, all the old games taught you how to play them organically. That's such a rose-colored perspective about that, because
it is. Yeah.
There were factors that existed then that do not exist in our current context. Like, you can buy a lot of games, a lot of indie games, a lot of AAA games if you wait a year for a lot cheaper now. Like, so you either gave up on a game completely if you got frustrated with it, or, like many of us, maybe you could afford like a couple games a year, like, and everything else was a rental, So you would just throw yourself into the blender and bash your head against the wall until you figured it out.
Until you figured it out. Yeah.
Because you had nothing else to play. You didn't have a backlog. That didn't exist.
You didn't have anything else to do. That's kind of like the thing people forget now, is that like you had a lot more time to do nothing when you were a kid. And that time you spent was just you figuring out, well, how the hell these things that are like now considered organic and like, oh, well, you should know this. It's stuff that we learned. Like I saw, GK, former guest of the show, made a really great point the other day where it's like, back then we didn't know how to control a camera on a video game. We had to learn that as kids, and it didn't bother us to not know that because we were present in the moment, just like studying, like, okay, how does this work? We didn't need like honestly, I don't even think we needed a manual back then, just because we had the time to do that. And now I feel like if a game is made to be that obtuse, it's considered like a negative. Like, well, why isn't it telling me how to do this thing? When really, it always did. It's just that we have like a different memory of that. Like we some of us, like you said, Casey, we rented a game. It didn't have the manual because it was either missing or incomplete, or just we didn't care for it. Just the pretty pictures were enough for us. And the way we figured out how to play a game was to give it the time it needed to figure itself out. We had a lot more patience for that back then.
But also the motivation of, like, if I don't like this game and I don't try to beat it, I'm not going to get another game until my birthday. You know, like, it's just not going to happen.
Oh, actually, that's an important part too. It's like, this is my whole weekend. Like, a bad game would ruin your weekend if you rented like something you did not like. And so you were kind of forced to enjoy it because I don't want to ask my parents to give this back because, like, they're not going to get their money back if they do. So it's you were kind of stuck with like the shit. I got to figure this out.
So I have the Megaman X manual pulled up right now. First off,
I love that one, by the way.
Really, because I think it's awful.
No, I think it's great because it actually explains the lore that everyone treats as like a fucking mystery to you.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's okay. So first off, the very first thing after the table of contents is the safety precautions for the cartridge itself, and it says, "Do not subject your game pack to extreme temperatures, either hot or cold. Always store at room temperature."
I mean, every manual said that.
And they all ended with a 90-day warranty. Like,
yeah.
Did anybody ever use those? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not.
You're right, though, Jorge. The very first thing after the like general like getting started and operating stuff is something called the Journal of Dr. Kane.
Of Dr. Kane,
and it's and it's a bunch of scraps of paper that are all about like the progress of making these like X's and zeros and things like that.
I'm gonna I got Kyle. I'm sorry, rant incoming. It's just that it bothers me so much. There's so many people who do not know that Dr. Kane made Sigma after he discovered X. And X was not awakened until well after the Reploids were created. And people do not understand this concept. They think like all the Reploids came out as soon as X woke up. And I'm like, how is that even humanly possible? You can't do that. It took months, maybe years, to wake up X after he was found because Dr. Light said, do not wake this guy up. He is going through reliability tests so that he can have, when he wakes up, he doesn't just kill everyone because he doesn't understand things like morals. And I love Megaman X, by the way. I'm sorry. But it's just that, like, people don't understand. And you know what? It's because no one read the fucking manual. No one read the fucking manual to Mega Man X, which explains all the story shit. Anyway, sorry.
May 16th. It has been 2 months since Sigma took control of the Maverick Hunters.
That's a few
and
days.
He as hunters have been able to prevent any... Oh, we can celebrate! He as his hunters have been able to prevent any further injury to the population. Everyone is starting to breathe a little easier. I'm a little worried about X. He seems unsure of his place in life and what Dr. Light had planned for him. But given time, I'm sure he'll find his way. It's like the writing's on is pretty good.
I fucking love Mega Man X.
May 16th, Sigma de Mayo. Put it on your calendars.
Yeah.
Shit.
So we can celebrate June 4th. Which is the day that Sigma goes Maverick.
Oh, that's the day of Sigma. They made an OVA on the PSP version of Maverick Hunter X. It's so good. Please watch it. It's only 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, we'll schedule this post. It'll be very important.
All right.
But yeah, like, that's the thing. I was commenting that I think the manual's bad just because like the pages are extremely plain white. The text is just sort of floating there. Yeah, I'm strictly talking about like the way the information is presented to you, which is very stark. It very much looks like something you'd print out at home. I will say it's at least cute because the little margin on the top below the title are little yellow Mega Man lemon blasts with little dash lines. It's just a trail of pellets, them just shooting across the screen. It's kind of cute.
Kyle, I feel like you set this trap card for me, but I'll take it. Whatever. I'll walk into it. I hate the idea that people believe the game was designed to organically teach you the mechanics of it, when I just, like, I love Megaman X, but that is simply not true. I have seen people play this game and not know there's a charge shot in it, because at no point does it tell you hold and press the A button to charge your shot. I don't care what YouTuber said that Zero does this and that's how you're supposed to figure it out. It's in the manual. The manual tells you just hold the frickin' Y button and the charge shot will come out. That's it. It was in the manual. There was no tutorials back then.
To fire the X Buster, press and hold the Y button. Weapon charge increases until Y button is released.
Easy, simple. All you have to do is read the book.
And if you played the Mega Man games before that, you wouldn't necessarily intuitively go, if I hold this button down.
Yeah, if you're like me and you've been playing since Mega Man 4, which is when they introduced the charge shot, then you would just have known this.
But yeah, you're right. You take that for granted that, like, they have this whole new mechanic and you wouldn't know. The game, like, I think a great game should do both. Like, it should make it feel very natural to do a lot of the things of, like, introduce the jumping and the climbing and the you know, the charge shots and all that. Have enemies that, like, you can plink away with a couple of, like, small shots, and then some enemies that, like, are more beneficial to charge up and fight that way. Like, the game should be doing that, but just functionally knowing the features in which, like, are in the game are something that you would genuinely, like, know beforehand. Anyways.
Thank you for listening to my rant.
It's okay. We're all friends here, Jorge. You're in a very safe space.
We're all very passionate here.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
So I guess we've talked about, like, the early eras of these manuals, but why don't we get on to our next topic, which is, when did we start seeing the decline of the video game manual?
The PlayStation Vita.
Really? Okay, why the Vita specifically?
Dude, like, none of those games had manuals. You opened, the case was just like, a lot of people were, that's when I first started seeing people being, like, kind of weirded out by the fact that there is no manual with a game included anymore. Like, you were greeted with a blue case that is just, like, empty and a tiny cartridge on the side, and that feeling of, like, oh, I paid like $40 for this, and it's just a video game.
It was definitely during the 2010s for sure. Like, that's
I would say 7th to 8th generation gaming. Like, it's when we started seeing, like, less companies probably trying to save money on printing or.
If we want to, like, point an exact finger, I do have almost an exact date, and that is spring 2010, actually, Casey.
Why is
you're
that?
Almost completely on the money. That is when Ubisoft put out a statement saying that they're being eco-friendly and no longer printing paper manuals.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, even as someone who is, who very much endorses eco-friendliness, I just do not buy that from Ubisoft at all.
Not from them.
No, not for one goddamn minute. No.
But I think that was also a time where, like, being, like, espousing green values while being the same kind of hyper-capitalist was a little more in vogue at the time, so maybe it was, like, a good excuse.
Yeah. Don't say we just arbitrarily made the bottles worse to save a couple of cents. No, it's more efficient. This bottle's more eco-friendly.
Printed paper is some of the cheapest shit you can invest in. So yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
But I will say it does, like, logistically, money. It does take a lot of energy to ship that stuff. But Ubisoft did not care about that. It was just dollar signs.
I was thinking about this too because a friend had just sent me to borrow a copy of Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux for the 3DS, and I opened it up. I was like, oh, there's a booklet in here. And when I opened the booklet, it was just a cover with the nice art, and inside was just the warranty information.
Yep.
Like, it was a single folded page. Like, there's
also, if there's any game you would want on like a manual for, it's probably, like, all of the Mega 10 games, because they are
any
obtuse.
RPG really.
But
any RPG, honestly.
By the same term, like, the last big manual I can remember getting was Shin Megami Tensei 4 with the DS, because they had put out, like, a deluxe 80-page book with it.
Oh, that's right.
But after that, it kind of just starts becoming a bespoke art object, because they realize they can either give you nothing or sell you something that costs a little bit more to get.
True, because that was separate. That was not included in the standard edition. I'm pretty sure standards also just had a folded paper inside.
Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't just Atlas. Like that just became the industry standard. Like
it did.
And I mean, there's definitely a few reasons for the decline. There's the rise at the time of stuff like GameFAQs. There is the ability of games to have a lot of memory, and now give you all this narrative stuff, or give you an art gallery inside the game itself, and all this other stuff they'd like to do. And
as games became more and more digital, there's not a need to describe to someone how to plug the game in and play it.
Well, and also maybe just they don't. I think by that point, like the producer and like C-suite cast, I feel like they all felt like, okay, the buy-in has already happened. We've already got lifers. We don't need to sell them on every game with a book inside the game now. Like they're hooked. The first taste of manual was free. Like, we do not need to give you extras. You're going to buy it at a higher price, and you're going to thank us for the privilege, you know?
Yeah. I didn't mention this in the previous topic, but like the early games that really, really started pushing like inclusions in the box were like the Ultima series of games. And that was a fight to like have feelers is what they were called. And it would have like cloth maps. It would have like stones that are like related to the game in addition to the manual, because those games really do require a lot of like work in order to get into, and it was a value proposition. It would like, because back in that era PC games were kind of in just cheap baggies and like cardboard boxes and not much else, so this was something to make the game look like higher value. And I guess once we hit this era of like Wii, PS3 and all that, it just, yeah, you're right, Casey, the buy-in was there. Like, we don't need to, like, people don't need this anymore.
Well, and also another very capital reason is like they also realized, oh, we can sell you the game and a strategy guide. Like, you're going to give us the extra $25, you know?
Yeah, because I was gonna say like because RPGs were based on like I think we've mentioned this before in the show, because RPGs were like more like grown out of not grown out of but come from tabletop RPGs. It was standard to just have like a lot of reading material, a lot of user guides, a lot of like bestiary walkthroughs, maps. That was just like standard for role-playing games before they became video games, so that kind of passed on to the electronic version of that. And I feel like that was just expected of the package and the product. If you bought an RPG, like, it has to have the guides, it has to have the manual, the strategy guide, the map. Sorry, I mentioned guides twice. And that's another thing I feel like has a bit of rose-tintedness when people talk about retro games, is that I should play an RPG without the guide. I should go in blind. When really it's like, you don't need to look up a walkthrough. You shouldn't look up how to go here and there. You shouldn't look up maps. And I'm like, but that's not how it was back then. No one remembers this. Was like, we did know this shit because they came with it. Like, that was part of the experience. We were supposed to go have a book next to us telling us where to go and what to do. That was standard. And to your point, Casey, I guess once GameFAQs started becoming more of a thing, then there was kind of like either sell the walkthrough separately, or why even bother?
Well, even before that, I think like it was just the value proposition of like, so, you know, the number will go up for us if we sell you both. You know,
regardless, yeah. And also all those tutorials and all that lore is now packaged in the game. So like and then literally, eventually, people just or companies just started having user guides and manuals digitally in the game, so there was no need to print it.
The early Ultima games had both sections in the back that had hints and stuff for the puzzles, and also additional guides you could buy that were basically like a stopgap that just kind of flat out explained how to do the more esoteric stuff, because sometimes there wouldn't be a reasonable way to figure this out on your own.
No, and you weren't expected to. It was part of the experience, I guess. It's just kind of a weird, like, elitist gamer mentality these days, where it's like, we didn't need walkthroughs back then. We just figured it out on our own. It's like, no, you fucking didn't. Shut up.
I was just looking at the Illusion of Gaia SNES RPG manual, and that is just that has the walkthrough that takes you to the end of the game in the manual that came with
the end of the game. Yeah, because most RPGs would just do like the first like town or so. Nice. Oh my god, that's awesome.
we are going to talk about Illusion of Gaia. Don't worry, Casey.
All right, fantastic. But I was also going to say, like, you can also sense this awkwardness in, like, these very specific part, place, and time this discussion holds, and something that is not a manual but was a strategy guide. When you look at something like Final Fantasy IX strategy guide, which I love Final Fantasy IX, that is one of the worst strategy guides of all time, because you bought the guide and then it would tell you every other page to go to a website to get the information.
PlayOnline.com.
Yeah,
we spoke with Andrew Blewett on this back in our Final Fantasy episode. Yeah. How that was such a disappointment.
It's interesting you bring up the guides too, because I think, right around the time that these manuals were starting to die out, we did see, like, this is the boom of the Prima guide era. Mm-hmm. And those are becoming like the hot commodity for, like, collectors, because you would get, like, the nice thick ones for Pokemon games, for your, like, New Vegas and stuff. And
I had a few.
I think those would serve a lot of the same purposes. Is you could get a lot of the beautiful art, a lot more of the backstory, but you'd get a full, like, breakdown of everything. Kind of when we did have a little bit of game facts, but this was taking the place of, like, wikis and things like that.
Oh yeah, I had a Darkstalkers strategy guide that was mainly an art book. Like, it had, like, frame stuff and, like, move lists, but, like, it was filled to the gills with Bingus artwork, and as, like, a middle schooler, to me, that was the coolest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
I gotta pull that one up and see how embarrassing it would be if your mom caught you reading that one.
Oh God,
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Oh, very. I remember when my mom saw us play Darkstalkers, and she was like, "What is she gonna start pole dancing?"
Okay.
When she saw Morrigan.
Maybe. I'm hoping.
I was gonna get into this story later, but I'm gonna give it to you now. So because it relates to Darkstalkers and it relates to the manual getting someone I knew in trouble.
Okay, go on.
So a friend of mine had purchased Darkstalkers 3, and that was the copy that all of us were playing. Their mom had found the manual and was just idly flipping through it. And for Darkstalkers 3, like, every character gets, like, a half page with, like, information and a profile and stuff.
I know where this is going.
So on Lilith's page.
Oh no!
On Lilith's page, it identifies her as the lost child of lust.
Yes.
And
I remember this.
My friend's mom was very churchy, so she instantly took the disc out of the PlayStation and obliterated it. Like that, like it had to be destroyed and no one could ever touch it again. So because Lost Child of Lust was just a bridge too far. Like,
to be honest, what the fuck, Capcom?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
They were not thinking.
To be honest, like, I don't think that's an unreasonable reaction to have. Now,
I will say
maybe breaking the disc was a little too far, but Jesus Christ.
Scanning through the guide of the original Darkstalkers, first of all, every character gets, like, 2 splash pieces of concept art that are all, like, original, like, really pencil-y, really watercolory, fucking gorgeous. And also, like, they have, like, frame by frame displays of every attack, which I feel like a lot of fighting games, like, sometimes there's not a good way of, like, am I doing the attack? What does it even look like? So I actually really like that it breaks down, like, this is the heavy attack. When we talk about this move, this is what it looks like. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's not just the attacks, too. It's also, like, here is screen caps of every, like, here's the character electrocuted. Here's what they look like on fire. Here's what they look like super deformed by the mummy's curse.
That's awesome, actually.
Like, they give you, like, all of the animation, so it really is just an animation Bible in still frames for you to look at and go, like, oh, yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. This is very detailed, so, like, this is an art book, basically.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of my favorite, pieces of just, game materials being given out as a strategy guide of all time.
Yeah. I was gonna cite the Breakfencer Musashi strategy guide was also very, like, rich with character art, but not at this level, not nearly as this detailed.
Yeah, I think it also it gives you a lot of capacity to, like, because it's simply, like, explaining to you, like, how to understand the information the game is giving you. But, like, in doing so, you're right, Casey. It's, like, a lot of just lavish diagrams of the character and the art and, like, the different, like, looks and positions and like moves they have. And so, like, just in order to learn how to play this game, you kind of have to just sit and enjoy art a little bit.
Yeah.
And I also think it's a really good way of understanding like concepts that people take for granted now when talking about things like fighting games. I mean, I have been in this fandom for decades at this point, but like imagining that someone coming in now is going to understand what frame data is, like, but if you can like if you see a still frame and go like, oh, that's what this that's what this move looks like, and this is what that particular animation frame is going to look like, and this is what a hitbox is like. It's just having that laid out for you in a very clear way is it's a nice thing that I think a lot of people are, of our generations take for granted.
I didn't think of that. Frame by frame animation would play an important role in frame data. Never thought of that till now. Yeah.
So Jorge, you brought up earlier that like a lot of modern games now will have digital manuals. So this brings me to my next question, which is a manual even needed anymore? What do we think about modern tutorials, digital manuals, and wikis?
That's a good question, because I don't even think... I can't say yes, actually, funny enough. And it's because of the... What the term needed implies here. Yeah. Where it's like, is it required? Which the answer is not really no, because we have digital distribution now. We have everything the game wants to tell you, it will tell you. At this point, I feel like it would serve as supplementary material, which could still enhance the gaming experience, but I don't know if it's necessary if you can include that important information in the game. Yeah.
Most games will have a setting that display the entire controller and all the buttons. I will say there is a problem I have with a lot of modern games, and this is genuinely me not like trying to sound like I'm just being curmudgeonly, but in a lot of these like big AAA games, you'll play them, you'll have a good time, put them down, and then they will come out with like an expansion or a DLC or whatever, a new level, and you'll pick that game up, and I will have no clue how to play the game.
Do you think a manual would remedy that? Would it make it like easier to jump back in?
I mean, it just feels very clunky, and like I'll go into the settings and like browse over it, and I'll have to like play a little bit to let the muscle memory kind of kick back in. And
sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think there's something to having like a paper manual that you can just flip through very like cleanly versus a lot of the digital menus. You have to like go to the sub option, go to this header, scroll down, and it's just a little clunky. You also have, you have to kind of go in the menus for it, which I feel like if it's just a piece of paper in front of you, I will just flip to like the first like 2 or 3 pages. It will show me the controller diagram, and if I don't remember how to do like the weird like dash jump or something like that, or how to like get to the climb menu in the context, I can just like flip a couple pages forward. Like, these are extremely utilitarian things. Like, if you have a question, you can usually just like go through in your head like, okay, this is a simple thing, I'll go to like this part of the manual, or they have the table of contents. I just feel like it's so much faster than using an in-game version.
It's a difficult thing though, because games at the scales they exist now are at like a level that most games outside of PC could not have functioned at before. Yeah. Like, it's when they were making manuals, they weren't thinking about DLC updates, you know? Like,
no. And how thick do you want that book to be? How's that going to fit in the game?
I think also there's just sort of a modern design ethos that's kind of understanding that the wiki is going to be there.
But go on, Casey.
No, I was going to say, I also think it's a function of like physical games themselves are dying. Like whether we like it or not, like, even like even when Nintendo with Switch 2 is making the shift to, these are not cartridges with the game inside, they are keys to the digital web store, like it's like I don't know, it doesn't feel like the object itself is as meaningful, and I've always wondered what that means for the future of retro gaming and things like that. Like, if there's nothing new to add to the canon other than the existing copies being shuffled around, it's
okay. So I'm glad you bring this up, because I have a few things to say. Like, there is the fact that like companies are slowly phasing, whether we like it or not. Physical is no longer as popular. People, like, most people do not collect games, and physical game enthusiasts need to understand that they are not the target audience of like a game release. Unfortunately, this is like a collector space is still niche. Most people are going to buy digital. And then with that being said, I feel like what can even go in a manual anymore when like the game itself already has what you need. And I do feel like there can be a use to it in giving you something that the game doesn't have. So not to toot my own horn, but an example I think of is the 30XX 20XX manual on the physical edition of it, which intentionally has like little lore bits that you wouldn't get from the game, but are still referential to the story itself. So it kind of gives it an extra value to have like that important lore reveal be in the manual. Like people can say now, like, well, I read like the Megaman X one, where it has that important context of the story in the written material. So I feel like it would still be supplementary. In fact, I don't even know if we're gonna enter more of a. I don't know if you guys remember, like the Super Mario RPG remake had a manual in Japan only, but it was a pre-order exclusive. So it didn't come with the game.
I think that's where we're going though. So like on a similar note, the special edition of Super Mario Odyssey has a traveler's guide, and that is like a really fleshed out manual. So maybe the answer to this question is that like, no, they're not needed for game design, but like they will be upsold to you in special editions.
Yeah,
in
it's for the
remakes
people who want
like
it
that.
now. Like, I think it should be provided as an option. That would be nice if they're not going to offer it as a standard. But I wonder if that in itself is killing it, you know?
I think a big part of it is the same thing that you're seeing in every other medium. You're seeing it with music, you're seeing it with Blu-rays and things too. It's the idea that like the C-suite class that has all the money would like to take ownership away as a concept. Like you're renting and leasing everything.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like music is seeing a surge in purchases for things like vinyl and tapes and CDs again, because people are seeing the limitation of streaming. But at the same time, the people who now press vinyls can charge you $50 for a record or something because they're like, oh, you're the captive audience now. Or like, a boutique Blu-ray label can sell you a movie from 1960s, but it's in a slipcase. So it's worth $70 instead of like the $20 you would have bought it for back in the day.
A public domain movie.
So I think games are going through a similar thing. I think people have gotten tired of things like limited run games and all that stuff because of their various blemishes and mistakes and other things.
Well, there's also yes, and it's also because of an oversaturation of that market in particular, and also the complementary material that they provide ends up being just a bunch of paper stuff, and you start asking yourself like, I'm occupying my shelves with these large boxes for a game that I'm gonna, it's a commemorative item, a game I like. But also, it's just taking up space.
Yes.
It's taking up a lot of space that I don't need. And eventually, you start realizing, this is what happened to me. Spoilers, I'm talking about myself. What ends up happening is, like, I'm just, like, purchasing clutter out of this idea that, like, this limited item is going to give me something that has been gone and I yearn for and I long for. But in reality, what happened, which was what you said, Casey, is that this is just an industry that was like manifested from like from like a user base that it's willing to spend money on nothing, on things that are nothing. That just like, I don't know, you get this idea of yes, you might not own this game. It might go away. The digital storefront will take it down. And so what's actually happening in your brain is FOMO. It's not really like, oh, I really want to own a manual for this game I love. It's really more like, shit, if I don't get this now, it's gone forever. And it becomes like a scheme, or rather, I don't want to say dishonest, but it kind of becomes like a...
Well, it's no longer about the utility of it. It is something to tell you.
It's just the aesthetic. It's the aesthetic of a manual. Then you get the game and you open it, and the manual is just like pictures of key art that you can only that's already available online. There's nothing new or exclusive hidden in here. It's just there because, hey, do you miss manuals? This one has it, and it doesn't provide anything of value other than like that comfort of being like, wow, video games are back, everybody. So I think people have caught on to that more.
And
lately.
There are things that could be done. You could have like, oh, here's exclusive interviews with the staff, or here's like, that would be great. Here are some essays that recontextualize it or something. But like, like a
zine.
But at the same time, I don't think that that's necessarily the perspective that like a lot of corporate investors are going to approach this from.
No,
I think that is sadly kind of a bygone idea. But there is room for various boutique labels or things. But then again, gaming rights are complicated, and this is still such a young medium for us to already be at this point. It is, it's a very heady subject.
There's still growing pains. There's still bumps in the road, and there's still, I guess, what I lament really is the corporate interests always interfering with like what made the experience so valuable to us in the first place.
But it's also important for us as as the audience to not necessarily always think in terms of what corporate wants to. Like it's you still have to retain in yourself and in your spirit like but this is I come to this for this reasons, and I don't have to talk about the things I like I'm a potential franchisee. Like I'm not gonna open up my own my own Ubisoft location, in the DMV. It's just
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I think you got it though. It's like the modern video game manual is more of like an art book that also happens to be a manual, or like a collector's edition, or like some sort of re-release that is like recontextualizing all this stuff, and it will be combined with other things, just more out of the utility of like, if it's not here, then where else would we put it? So maybe it is only coming out every once in a while, like as needs and demands dictate for like, games that have a cult following or have a reason for it. But you're right. Maybe we just don't need it.
It's also a case though, where like the companies themselves are going to have to allow that. Like you think about stuff like Nintendo, where it's like, they're not even selling you ownable digital copies of old games anymore. You have to buy their online monthly service to stream it from them.
Yeah, you have to pay them $10 for the operating manual for the Switch 2.
So yeah, it's a complicated thing, and I mean, all the we're talking about these manuals, but the only reason I'm able to read any of them anymore is because of the preservation efforts of like fans on the internet who've scanned old copies. It's
on us.
It's on us.
Yeah, and like, I think, we're just gonna have to find what there is to value out of those things, and maybe we're just not in a time where like it is as important, but we can still find a lot to enjoy out of old manuals.
You can't spell old manuals without old man.
Why don't we take a quick break with a segment I like to call Game Ratings. I'll present a category like fighting game finishing moves, play it loud Game Boy Colors, games you'd rent at a Blockbuster, and we're going to come up with something underrated, overrated, and accurately rated. Today's topic is video game comics.
Comic tie-ins.
Yeah, video game comic tie-ins. Yes, you're right. So yes, whether it is included with the game itself or an adaptation after the fact, these are comics for video games, so not the other way around.
Yeah. Who wants to start?
Yeah, I have a few, I think.
Yeah, you want to start? You're our guest.
Why don't you start?
I'll throw in the first couple things. So for properly rated, or like just the thing that I think is accurately rated, I would say the comics that were in Nintendo Power are accurately rated, because I feel like they're very beloved by those who experienced them. Of course, I'm talking about like the Mario comics by Charlie Nizawa, which are very funny.
Those are my favorite video game comics of all time. The Super Mario Adventures, and I actually have it in my accurately rated as well.
Excellent.
See, okay, I will spoil this. I have it in under only because I do agree that like they are beloved. I think it's under because I think even more people need to love these things. I am not satisfied with this current status quo. I say under simply because
I will agree with you. Oh, sorry.
Like,
I will agree with you at least on the Star Fox one. That one, not a lot of people know about the Star Fox Nintendo Power Comics.
I was just about to also praise, the Star Fox and Metroid comics by Benimaru Ito. I also really liked Shotaro Ishinomori's Link to the Past comic. Because it's insane to think that they got the creator of Cyborg 009 and most of the tokusatsu genre as we know it to do a Zelda comic that has a character that is not in Link to the Past, Rome the Mystic, and he looks like Cyborg 002. Yeah.
Yes,
incredible.
Yes, he does. With the hair and the nose.
You're
I know
right.
exactly
Oh
what
my
you're talking
god. Okay, so that's your accurately rated.
Yes, yeah, but I could also agree with you that I wish more people had the means to experience those too. Underrated, I'm gonna say, just because I come from a big fighting game background, so like I really love like all of the like 4 gag strips that happened from fighting games. Like a lot of those get reposted on the internet, but there's just no clean way to get most of them.
Really?
But also stuff like Kin Ishikawa, the co-creator of Gitter Robo with Go Nagai, wrote and drew an unhinged Fatal Fury comic that is like the angriest Terry Bogard you'll ever see, because it's like it's just Terry like screaming and cursing and beating up demons in like a post-apocalyptic city. But it looks incredible. It looks like an old Go Nagai comic, even though Nagai is not writing it. Like it's But also, I'd also praise the Jade Man comic strip. Jade Man Comics is a Chinese publisher of 90s kung fu comics, which are some of the most unhinged comics around. Very, like, once you see their pencil and coloring style, you will never mistake a Jade Man comic for anything anybody else made. But Jade Man made I assume, unofficial Street Fighter comic back in the day. And it has one of my favorite first chapters, which is Ryu throwing a Hadouken at a bootleg Gene Simmons. Like, and he is drawn to look like Gene Simmons. Like, he's got the tongue out and everything. It's the same makeup. Like, it is just,
what the hell?
They just got away with it because they're making these in Hong Kong and they're never meant to come out over here. So,
Sure.
But yeah, so I really love those. And I wish they were easier to get a hold of. And overrated is a topic that I have such trouble with generally, but also specifically with this topic, because I don't know.
I did too.
I don't know that a lot of comics that are tie-ins to games are that rated by most people
really
to begin with. So I unfortunately, I don't have a clean answer to this, but I feel obligated to give you at least something potentially spicy. So I'm going to give you the most lukewarm take that's unrelated, but should still get some kind of traction, which is, I'm tired of people talking about how good anime food looks when they're only going to post GIFs from Ghibli movies. Sure, they look good, but that has broken containment. That is now like a thing that people who don't even watch anime post. So you gotta.
Oh my god, you're right.
You have to find a different example. There, I cheated, but I still got something out there.
No, I'll bring it back.
This is a genuine article. MinovskyArticle post. Thank you for this. We should be paying you for this.
That's right. Yeah. If you want to do that, post Vanillaware food instead. All right.
There you go. Yes.
There you go.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, bring it back to games. Vanillaware food is where it's at.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Very, very, very wonderful. Jorge, would you like to go next?
Yeah. So I'll start with underrated. You'll get a kick out of this, Kyle. It's not exactly underrated, but I wish more people did talk about it. The Elden Ring manga is kind of interesting in how it doesn't follow Elden Ring.
The Elden Ring manga is incredible, and I'm so glad you brought this up.
That's a comedy manga, right?
Can you explain what it is plainly?
I will explain, because I was trying to look for a gift for a friend of mine who loves Elden Ring, and I'm like, I'll get him the manga. And I got it, and I started, let me flip through this, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is not what I thought it was gonna be. I thought most people would want a manga adaptation to be like semi-accurate, at least enough to follow story beats and to have those little like artistic interpretations of things that we only imagine. And you would consider that to be like, okay, great. It follows the story plot. It follows the characters and all. And this.
Artistically, it's very serious. Like, it looks like the proportions
you
are
look
really
at the cover
real.
and you're like, oh, that's an Elden Ring manga. Yeah.
Yeah. The line art is really dense. too.
Yeah, you think you're gonna open like Berserk or something.
Yeah.
Yes, I open it because I'm like, oh, I want to check it out. I open it and the first panel is like the guy, I don't know, the Tarnish, what's he called, the Elden Ring man?
I think it's
the
Tarnish.
player character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like on his ass, face down on the ground, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck is happening here? And the manga follows what like a player would do in like a first Elden Ring playthrough. Just these unhinged things that happen in like a very serious world. And I thought to myself like, hey, actually that's neat. I didn't know this was like a parody of Elden Ring, like officially for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And the artwork has no business being this good for something that's like a joke.
He picked the wrong class, so he has no armor, just his like underwear wrap. And because of that, he's got no way to store his bottles, so he has to kind of like suction cup them on his butt cheeks.
It's stuff like that,
And, like-
and I'm like, okay, it's not taking itself seriously, even though it's based on a very serious game.
It is about the stupidest, most brute force motherfucker having to like go through this harsh and evil world, and he like literally will start leveling up his intelligence and start making more educated decisions on what to do.
So the cool thing about it was that I was kind of surprised that like, oh, this is. I kind of wish there were more like manga adaptations like this, because I remember like trying to get into the new Zelda manga and just not being into it because I'm like, I'd rather just play the video games.
Yeah, it's
like the newer ones that are coming out.
This is a manga on what it feels like to play Elden Ring, and they nail it perfectly.
And I thought it was a neat little thing to take advantage, like use that spin-off to take advantage of like telling a story in a different way. I thought that was cool. So
yeah,
I put it on underrated, even though I don't really think it is. Like, people like it good enough, but I also feel like very few people who play Elden Ring ever mention the manga.
No, it's phenomenal.
And that's kind of weird.
Because also the characters too, they're like a little bit more of a like like it's how you react to them, how like you feel of like, yeah, they're kind of snobby. They dial that up just a little bit to make them more on like, they act more
like,
how
what
you
the fuck
feel
is
they
wrong
are.
With you? Yeah. They're always kind of judging the player quietly.
I think that's kind of what I was getting at too with like the 4-panel gag comics about fighting games. It's like I know stuff like this exists in Japan, and it's honestly a miracle that a parody Elden Ring manga got an official translation so close to the game.
Yes.
And it's like I just want to see more of that. Give the option of also seeing these like less self-serious adaptations.
Yeah.
Come
Absolutely.
over here.
And I appreciated that for it. And spoiler, I actually kept the book for myself and gave him a different copy because I'm like, oh, this is cool. I want to read it.
No, it's really funny.
And then for accurately rated, I did put Super Mario Adventures on there. Thanks for mentioning that earlier, Casey, because like that to me is one of the most influential comic books I've ever read in my life. Like my sense of humor, my sense of sequential art. When I was like, I think I was 10 or 11 when I first read those, completely altered my brain. I was like, I want to do comics. This is amazing. And I thank it for that. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in the show before, so I won't get into it too much. And then for overrated, I have like a weird pick that I have to explain myself for.
Go for it.
So back in like late 2000s, no, actually like right before the pandemic, Capcom did a show called, or funded a show, produced a Megaman animated show adaptation called Fully Charged, which I believe was done by like the Ben 10 studio. And people told me this show fucking sucks. It's bad. Don't waste your time with it. It's cringe. I actually watched it and I thought, this is actually not as bad as y'all are saying it is. And I think y'all are just pissed off that this took a lot of liberties and just tried to do its own thing. And when you take it as its own thing, you appreciate it. But then, conversely, in the same sentence, people be like, well, the tie-in comic they did after the show, which is like basically the finale of the show because they canceled it, they weren't able to finish it, is a lot better. It's darker, it's edgier, there's Skullman's in it. You got, like at least we got that out of that crappy show. And then I read the comic and I thought, this is actually bullshit. You were all lying to me. This is one of the most boring fucking comics I ever read. And I feel bad because like the cover art for it is incredible. Tony Infante did like every cover for that, for the standard editions. And honestly, I'd prefer to get those over the collectors because his art is incredible. And here I am reading this comic being like, wow, they brought back Zero and I don't feel anything. Like, I don't know what happened. And I was kind of disappointed. I didn't even finish it. I got so like kind of tired of how much they rushed it, how much they tried to retcon a lot of like character arc stuff, how much each character just didn't feel like their counterparts and fully charged. And ironically, being more into the one everyone hated, as opposed to this like comic that everyone praised, said there was like the good that came out of this project. So yeah, that's my pick. It's kind of shout out to the Mega Man subreddit, which has always had wrong opinions about everything. So there you go.
Cool. Well, first of all, I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry that happened, but I'm happy for you.
Yeah. No, I'm not happy for you. That sucks. I'll go to mine then. So as I spoiled it, my underrated is Super Mario Adventures, and more my take on this is just I think post the Mario movies, like when we were getting previews of the very first Illumination Mario movie, that was what I was most hoping for. Was like, honestly, if they just did an adaptation of Super Mario Adventures, I think it would be fantastic.
Instantly
because like
gold. Yeah,
Mario's got
success.
a personality. Luigi's like everything there is just firing on all cylinders for like this perfect.
That's
little gag.
my Peach. My ideal Peach lives in that comic. That's the best Peach we ever got.
So I think just nowadays more so than ever, I would love for more people to go and read that, especially now that it's been reprinted. For a while, there just was no way to get it, but it's very easy to get now.
Yeah, they reprinted. I wish they reprinted Star Fox and Metroid 2. Damn it! Sorry, go on.
I know. But yeah, so that it's such a lovely, such a fun comic that I think that just like normal Nintendo fans should have this on their shelves as a fun thing, especially if they have kids.
Yeah.
They should educate themselves. I agree. Modern Mario fans need to acquire taste and learn what a good thing. I'm sorry. I'll stop. No hot takes.
I remember being very young and that basically just tracing over that and just trying to force my art style to be like that.
God, my favorite chapter is Peach's birth. It's Princess Toadstool for us old fogies. It's when her birthday is coming up, and Mario and Wario want to buy her a Samus plush. And they just fight over it. They like kick each other's ass. And it's great because at the end, spoiler, Luigi gives her the Samus plush, and she's like, "Thank you, Luigi, you're the best."
I love the one where it's Mario versus Wario, and Mario is he's like he's walking on a lake by like using the lids of a pot to float, and he gets attacked by an octopus who's really pissed off, and Mario's like, whoa, like, hey man, like, are you okay? Like, let's talk this out. And he's like actually trying to solve the problem. And the octopus is like, yeah, it's just things are really like bad for me right now because I'm in a lake and that's fresh water. And I don't know if you need to know this, but like I need salt water. And Mario just like pulls this big, massive like pouch of salt out of his bag. And he's like, well, here, I have this. Let me get this for you. And he pours it. And then he's like, oh, this is sugar. Whoops. And the octopus is just like floating dead in the water. And he's like, oh, well.
No. Oh my God. I remember this.
I also recall the one with the con man that like was selling a manual on how to speak conversational Yoshi, and if you buy it, it's just the word Yoshi over and over again.
Yeah, Yoshi with different like in it's so
We're
funny.
doing that before Yoshi had voice acting too.
It's got the trans Luigi in it. Like there's so much to love in this one. But
he disguises himself with Peach. And he's like really into it.
And Mario's like, "Look, dress looks good on you, buddy."
And also Mario relentlessly bullying Wario to the point that you understand why Wario is the way he is.
Oh, but on accident, he doesn't realize he's bullying him.
Yes.
When they were kids, when they were little, and that's why he's evil. Oh my God, I love these.
You got to read the manual, people. You got to. That's where the lore is.
We lost that.
My overrated, and this is going to sound a little spicy, but let me explain myself, is the Bloodborne manga. The panel, the cover is done by one of my favorite just artists, period, of all time, Q Hayashida. I think that she is underrated. But I would say that the Bloodborne manga is overrated because that is all anyone ever talks about, is the fact that the cover is done by the Dorohedoro artist.
Wait,
and it's beautiful.
Just the cover?
She doesn't
Just
do
the
any
cover.
other part of it.
The rest of the manga is some other guy, and it's fine.
What? Why would they do that?
because that artist is cool and you'll see the cover and buy it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
god!
they do that all the time for comics. It's like variant covers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I expect that from like the shell.
Yeah, you expect that.
American comic.
You expect that from Marvel and DC, but manga feels like a bait and switch when that happens. But
Yeah.
then again, we're
That's really
talking
weird.
about a game tie-in comic too, which is sometimes thrown out as like a cheap product. You know, it's
Yeah, and also like probably because they couldn't get Kyu Hayashida because she's busy being the best artist in the world. So,
So how much do you like Kyu Hayashida?
a lot. Well,
I'd say that's a normal amount of liking Kyu Hayashida. That's
yeah. But yeah, so it's, again, I don't want to dismiss the artist that did it. It is fine. The art is pretty good. But it just sucks that like it also kind of also looks like Kyu Hayashida's art. So it's a little bit of a like, yeah, it feels like a bit of a bait and switch, even though it's not meant to be. It's just a bit odd. So
Can't
a
even
little
name
overrated in
the
that
real.
regard.
Can't even name the real Bloodborne artist.
Exactly.
Fake fan over here.
Here, I'm going to. I will go out of my way to look up that artist because I feel bad because they do a good job. It is.
you're gonna
it
dig
does
up their
look
name
good.
just to publicly bury them. It's
Yeah.
I was gonna say like you don't have to, buddy.
Anyways, I'll put that in the notes at least.
But I think that's a reasonable complaint, though. Just you if you see the cover and you pick it up expecting one thing and it's something else, that is a disappointment.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you do love like, because I do love Kyu Hayashida's like Dorohedoro art more than the anime. I actually didn't really care for how the anime looked compared to the manga.
I think this is the same one, but it is Piotr Kowalski.
Okay.
Who,
sorry.
like-
I'm sorry, Mr. Kowalski.
Yeah, again, and I'm looking at the rest of the covers on this manga. They are fucking beautiful. I don't want to undersell that. I'm gonna post this Eileen the Crow one.
And
it's
and
amazing.
And for all we know, maybe Kowalski was done dirty by somebody else making the decision to put Kyu Hayashida art on the cover. You know, like it's just
So it's
pretty
overrated
good.
in that it cannot exist on its own merit, and I feel bad for that.
Okay. Well, I accept that explanation.
I also just wanted to talk about Kyu Hayashida, so
of course.
thank you for listening to me talk about Kyu.
She did a Momocon X adaptation manga. I found this out the other day.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
fucking
you
fucking
posted the other
first
day.
person action game on Dreamcast that no one talks about, even though it's made by Atlas, and it's basically a Shin Megami Tensei spin-off in everything, like in not even in name only, in everything but the name. And yeah, the manga adaptation was done by her. I found this out like the other day.
And video game connections abound. Kyu Hayashida also worked on designs for the game Shadows of the Damned, the Shinji Mikami.
That
yeah.
blows my mind. God.
So
You want to talk about it? Sorry, quick tangent.
You're
You want to
fine.
talk about a perfect game that is ruined by one moment? Shadows of the Damned. Shadows of the fucking Damned, bro. The big boner segment. I will never play that game again just because of that. Does no one know what I'm talking about?
No, can you explain the boner moment?
Well, there are multiple boner moments in this game, right? Like
There's a sequence where like the game becomes a shooter, but like you're just stuck in place. It's not even like on rails. It's not even like I don't know how to explain it, but it
It's
becomes
just a
mini
shooting
game.
gallery.
Yeah, shooting gallery. It becomes a shooting gallery, and like his gun gets big, so he's like, it's the big boner. And every time he fires the gun, he's like, taste my big boner. And that I died so many times in that part that the words taste my big boner were no longer funny and in fact were obnoxious and stupid. And and it started peeling the layers of irony and going like, no, actually, this is just bad.
it's the same. It's the
and-
same like Suda 51 impulse that leads to Travis Touchdown having to do like a jerk off motion to recharge the sword. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, it's funny at first, but then like you doing it over and over again, you start going like, okay, you know what?
I'm
I don't know
okay
what
with
the
that one, but I
commentary
don't
is
know where that
anymore.
line exists.
But yeah, it's a shame because otherwise, Shadows of the Dam is a beautiful game. I fucking love the rest of it. Go on.
All right, we'll get you the boner cut.
Okay.
My accurately rated is the Danganronpa manga. So this is a little complicated, and I'm going to explain this one. The Danganronpa has like several different manga adaptations. The very first one that ever came out, I think, is just known as, there's like Danganronpa the animation, which is basically just an adaptation of the game, just straightforward, like how it is to play the game. The very first one to come out was called Danganronpa the manga, or more specifically, Danganronpa Kibu no Gakuen to Zetsubo no Kokosei. This is a quick, like, cash grab tie-in manga adaptation that is done third person, omniscient, and the narrative plays out like linearly through time. So you are watching the murders happen as they happen by the people that murder them.
Oh wow.
It's so pointless.
So is it in the game? It's part of the game, but it's just part you don't see?
No, that's the thing. Like, you know, I heard the reasoning was like, oh, we wanted to highlight like the killer's motivations. I'm like, you mean like how they do in the game?
Okay.
It's so weird. And I remember like, because this was also in the era where people were like really foaming at the mouth for Danganronpa, and they were like trying to read it on something awful. So they might have read the manga, and it just, even if you know the spoilers already, it's also just a very bland and uninteresting way to see a mystery. Like, I don't care what the motivation is. It's more just, I want to see like how the information is disseminated among the characters. This is just, why would you do it? Why would you do third person omniscient on a murder mystery?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So really weird. I say it's accurately rated because like you actually have to fight to find this one. If you just search for Danganronpa manga, you're just gonna find the one that's a straight up adaptation, and like no one cares, no one talks about it anymore. Everyone's forgotten about it, and I think for good reason, because there's just no point for it to exist. So, by that regard, it is accurately rated.
Days since Kyle mentioned Danganronpa 0.
I know. I'll flip the calendar back over. I'm sorry, y'all. Well, why don't we get back to the episode?
Brain Lords, video games of the mind.
Six great issues plus 6 free strategy guides on a hot new game. That's twice the power for still $15. Wow, call now.
In the tradition of Zelda, play Illusion of Gaia on your Super NES. As Tim, you are an unusual hero with special abilities and the power to transform into 2 great warriors. With the help of a few companions, including Kara, Princess of Edward Castle. Search for 6 mystic dolls. You'll need them to achieve your quest.
Now that is a big boner. All right, Johnson, let's take this pole for a stroll.
Brain Lords, video games of the mind.
I got another question for y'all.
Oh.
What is the purpose of the modern manual? So this is more continuing off of what we're talking about, manuals as fancy add-ins for physical indie releases. I guess to differentiate this from kind of what we were ending with before the break, I'm talking about things like Tunic and The Banished Vault are probably the best examples of this, where they are games about their manuals. The Vanished Vault, like, you order a physical manual and it has stuff for you to fill in as you're solving the game.
I think stuff like that is really interesting. Like, I haven't played Banished Vault yet, unfortunately. I did play Tunic, you know, and I will say, like, I think having those ideas as like the manual as a key mechanic is probably the best case scenario for continuing to use something like that. Like having beaten Tunic, I really did enjoy the way that used a fantasy world and a fantasy language to sell you on the feeling of what it would be like to import a game and read a manual in a language you don't understand, where all the secrets are.
You feel clever for solving the parts of the manual that you haven't gotten to yet.
Yes.
Or like it will tease, like it is weird because like if you order the manual, you cannot read that like linearly because it will like it spoils the order the game is designed around. But also the game is designed to where the easier pages to get also tell you the more pertinent information about like how dashing works, how leveling up and upgrading works. So.
Yeah, the game is actively teaching you in infographics and a fake language how to play it, but also like all the riddles and puzzles and secrets are there too. It's just so I think that's a really fascinating use of the idea of what a modern manual can be. And I've as you were discussing with Banishing Vault, that sounds very interesting too, of having like the physical object also be part of how you're playing the game.
Mm-hmm. I remember when a coworker of mine was playing 13 Sentinels for the first time, I was like, you know what? Here, hold on. And I made a little manual, quote unquote, for them, where it had pictures of character's face, and it had to fill in the blank their name, like the time period they're from, and like one or two other things of like just basic stuff that would be useful, because especially if you're playing that game as like a non-Japanese speaker, there are 13 characters that you like, their names and last names are all very important to the plot. You're jumping back and forth through times, and you can see people in multiple time periods and be like, I'm sorry, what's going on? So having an idea of like a little character manual was extremely helpful for me, at least, because like there's so much to keep track of in that game, and just getting the bare bones, like filling out with pencil down on a piece of paper like what this character's name is, like helps you remember it so much better.
I think you get a lot of that too with like discussions about games like Blueprints or Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, of like, you're solving the puzzles on scratch paper, you're making your own manual as you go, even if one's not provided to you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where the modern manual is right now, quote unquote. I have in my notes exactly that, is blueprints and people doing their own manuals, I think is like kind of an experience. Like, I don't think it's the intent of the game, but a lot of these more like puzzle and mystery games are sort of, I think, benefited by basically you approaching them as though you are like writing the manual for the game as you play it.
In a way, too, that kind of feels like a return to the tradition of like old dungeon crawlers and things, where people playing on PC had to like use graph paper to draw out the dungeon as they went.
I had to do that for East 2 or East 1 when I played those.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I had to draw the maps myself.
I did that for like recipes and stuff on Look Outside. It was a lot of fun to like remember where like what was in the different rooms. Or like when I'm playing a game on Switch, especially if it's like a Metroidvania style game or anything where I'm like backtracking a lot, I will use the liberal use of the camera function and just take pictures of like, this room seems important. In fact, I know that recent Prince of Persia game lets you do that in the game itself, is like track pictures and stuff of the areas.
Lost Crown?
Yeah, Lost Crown. So you could save pictures of rooms that you meant to backtrack to. Through a mechanic in the game. So it was almost, again, like you're building your own manual for it and just giving yourself little tips of how to remember. Like what you were doing or where you were going or what's important.
It's a shame that game didn't do as well as it did. It's like it's a Megaman X game disguised as a Prince of Persia game. More people should play it.
I think what unfortunately took the wind out of that game's sales were, like, at least for me, who was very excited about it, was they announced the team that had been fired before the game even came out, and I'm like, well, what am I giving?
Oh my god!
It's like what?
Right.
It's like, what am I going to give you money on release for then, if none of the people who I'd want to make money off of this are still at the company? Like,
that's when, and it was happening a lot during that time too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it keeps happening.
God, yeah.
And otherwise, it's things like Mina the Hollower and games by the group Color Grave, who make both are which Curse Crackers I played recently, which is a
Color Grave shout out.
Yeah,
I know one of the sprite artists. For Color Grave.
I'm a fan, and I enjoyed Curse Crackers when I played it just a couple months ago a lot.
Nice.
But
I'll let them know.
But that's another game that has a digital, an optional digital booklet, and it's very interesting to me that games that are clearly Game Boy Color inspired, Mina, and that have those as options. Clearly they're meant for nostalgia, but I'm sure it's nostalgic for the creators too to create those things, and
they're doing it for the love of it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Mina the Hollower one. I was lucky that I accidentally stumbled on that because it's in the options when you load up the game. But they have a built-in digital manual that reads more like a traditional manual. Not that it's necessarily any, it's not too much different from how modern digital manuals would work in a video game that would just show you controls and settings and other things like that. But it's, it goes through the backstory and then the major controls and then the weapons, the sub-weapons, the enemies, stuff like that, different zones. And I remember seeing a lot of people have this I just really don't know how the sparks work. This is really frustrating. And yeah, dog, because you needed to read the manual.
Okay. I started Mina the other day. I fucking love that it does that. I am so tired. Listen, no shade to anyone in particular. I'm kind of tired of playing indie games, and they all have the same tutorial where it's here's a little hill, and then the A button flashes and pops up, and you're like, huh? Oh, that's how I jump. And you jump over the hill, and then there's a wider gap, and then the B button and the A plus A flashes and the direction. Oh, I have to run and jump for this one. I am so tired of this. Please stop. It's every game has the same fucking tutorial now. Can you not? If you put a hill, I will just kind of gather, okay, I should just jump wider. How this cannot be the first time someone is playing a video game. And in fact, you should probably respect people's intelligence, even if they don't play video games. Anyway, sorry. I hate when they do that. And I'm glad Mina didn't. They just put an obstacle, and you're like, how do I get over this? Oh, I jump over it. There, done. You know how to do it now.
So you're saying these are the pages you would skip in a manual traditionally?
Maybe nowadays I would, but also the nice thing that Mina does, what Kyle said, hey, the manual's right there, and you should read it. We should make a habit out of doing a little bit of homework before playing a video game.
My only critique is I think when you start the game, it should have manual unlocked, and then it pops, it slams down the option.
It should
in the
tell
menu.
you. Yeah, it should probably tell you,
and makes it all sparkly and stuff. So you're like, oh, okay, I'll read that.
It should probably tell you. Yes.
I did not know it was a thing until I looked at the menus, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. I think it should just make it a little bit more obvious.
A little notification for first-time players, you may consult the manual. It's in this part of the options menu. Otherwise, have fun.
Or it can be a diegetic thing where the character whips it out as a journal or something. It's just if you want to push this certain button combo, there it is.
Mm-hmm. So, but I appreciate the fact that it's circumventing the need for a wiki. It just has a list of all of the enemies, all of the sub weapons, and that's just kind of nice because I'm so tired of wikis. They're usually incorrect. They're most of them are just bloated with ads.
Yes,
they're just
fandom is a terrible.
Or there's on Discord servers which are horrible for archival. These are not the tools that we should have.
I'm glad you brought that up.
How to play games.
I'm glad you brought that up because I do have an axe to grind with especially with fighting games right now. If you want information, there are character specific Discord servers. It has gotten so decentralized. So if you want to learn how to play Kin, there's a Kin Discord that you have to go to that's separate from the Street Fighter Discord. It's you have all these communities, and it's I would just want to go to a centralized location. A GameFAQ still works for me. It still works for me, but you have to chase all these various communities and hope you get good info. And I feel like things have been lost in that process. Now, do fighting games have a lot of wikis? Sure. I can go to Super Combo for this, or Mizumi, or Dust Loop, or any of these other wikis, but none of
hubs.
Yeah, but none of them are complete. You have to chase that information in ways that is a little hard.
Yeah.
And
Shout
what
out
sucks
to
about
the
the whole Discord thing is that there's that is not being preserved. If Discord goes under tomorrow, there's no way to recover this.
It's all gone. And so much information has gone that way. You have to find these things now. They're not being put anywhere else.
Oh my god, we need to stop that. Okay, sorry, Kyle, go on.
No, I just wanted to shout out the original BlazBlue game came with a bonus DVD, and you could go through every single character, and they would give you the bread and butter combos and like the general ethos on how to play them. That was like curated by the developers. So even if it's like maybe not how the meta has evolved, like you can learn like, oh, okay, like punch, launch them into this and do the super that's like a shoots above me. Okay,
here's some fundamentals for you just to build around and have an idea. Yeah, stuff like that is very nice when it happens.
As much as I complain about like Nintendo kind of just like killing the artistry behind their own manuals, I will at least commend the fact that when you play like Mario Odyssey, for instance, when you get to the moment where you need to do a tutorial, you'll walk up to the thing, and if you know how to do it, you just do it right away. But if you don't, or if you hover too long, it'll usually pop up a little video in the corner of you performing the action with the associated like motion that you need to do. And like for children especially, or like visual learners or things like that, it's maybe non-diegetic, but it's also just very, very clear of like, hey, here's how you do the thing. And if you don't need it, it either doesn't pop up because you're not spending too long on that, or you can just ignore it because it's just the bottom of the screen. So like there are ways to have your manual built into the game to not feel like it's just insulting you.
Yeah, that would be nice. So I guess to answer your question, what is the purpose of a modern manual? It should be kind of like integral to the experience. I think Tunic, we keep bringing up Tunic because it kind of is the best example of this, where like the manual becomes part of the story. And I wish more games would do that. Maybe not as tied to the game's actual mechanic, but rather making it so that there's an incentive for the player to seek out this information. I'm glad y'all brought up 13 Sentinels, because like my favorite part of that game, unironically, was going through the built-in wiki to reference every term that I was like, oh wait, what does that mean again? And I could just pull up a menu that brings me every term with every definition and quickly catch myself up on the story. That was amazing. I love that about
I printed out the paper thing just because I think for English speakers, it's really handy to have all the characters' faces and their Japanese names, the full names.
Sure.
Especially when like people
okay, go on.
Especially when people will more formally like say their last name. It's really helpful to have. But you're right, that built-in wiki is phenomenal because they knew it was a complicated game and you needed something like that.
Yeah,
I had less trouble remembering character names because I don't know. I guess because of watching anime untranslated, it didn't really bother me as much. But yeah,
I also love when a JRPG has like a built-in bestiary that gives me more information about each monster if I decide to click through it. Stuff like that is amazing. It adds some depth.
Put it in the game.
Yep.
We will use it. But don't do it like Final Fantasy 13. Don't do that shit. Don't make me do fucking... Yo, FF13 does not give you... Okay, first of all, I'm a Final Fantasy 13 defender. However, there are genuine criticisms of the game. And one of them is how much of the backstory is in the menus and how much reading you have to do just to understand basic terms. It goes a little too hard that way. And it really is one of the genuine faults of that game.
Yeah, there's I think a balance, and you're right. Like I think the games that need the manuals will have them. I'm loving the fact that we're doing more of these like people doing their own journals and like spreading their own tips organically is becoming more of a thing again. Like I saw online someone had done that like really comprehensively for their Silksong experience, and they were selling it as a zine afterward. It was really cool. So
I think I saw that the other day.
Yeah. I'll look that up so I can shout out their name, but
let's do that now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think you're right. I think it's going to depend on the game. I think it's going to like, not every game is going to need one, but the ones that do, like when it's right for it, it will be elevated because of that.
I want to shout out on that topic of someone journaling and zining. I want to shout out the label Youth in Decline, which is run by Ryan Sands.
I've heard of this.
So Ryan has been like a part of the like indie comic scene for a very long time, but now Ryan has been playing games like Tears of the Kingdom and all of the like FromSoft games, Sekiro, Elden Ring, etc., with his young daughter Naomi, and Naomi has been drawing zines and selling them through. Youth in Decline's publishing. That. So you get like a child's eye view of these games through drawings, and it's It's just fantastic.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
So this is the Silksong Journal. It's available on itch.io, and it is by Good Ship Sky Pirate, aka Neo Yi. And I will link that in the show description. But yeah, it's just like cute little doodles. I've seen like incredible ones for Elden Ring where people will like stop what they're doing and like do these beautiful pencil illustrations, and like that's just so cool. So I think maybe like just doing your own manual is kind of like where the modern manual is.
Shout out to hand-drawn guides. I should give them a shout out too. Yeah. Oh my god, I need to remember his name because we're also mutuals on Twitter.
Who is this? I've never heard of this.
Hand-drawn Guides is a solo project by, oh my god, where is your name? NF Publishing. Help me. Give me. Oh, Phil Summers. There you go. Phil Summers just started doing like his own fully illustrated like personal projects for games he likes, and they were just like hand-drawn manuals for games that he's really into, but then expanded that into like actually making guides with like all hand-drawn illustrations. The one that just came out, I think it's the Megaman 1 guide, which I believe was like officially licensed by Capcom. Mm-hmm. He got the deal with that one, and it's cool because he still does like a very interpretive type of illustrations. Like they're not one-to-one matching the original designs. They look like an art project through and through. So it's very nice to see that have some kind of officiation. I recommend those hand-drawn guides. He does have some independent ones too. I think he did one for Zelda.
I think I heard about this because they did a Kickstarter for a Zelda one and it got taken down.
I don't know if it got taken down. I'll get back to you on that. But
okay.
He did do a Zelda one, and that fully illustrated. I believe Contra was another one.
Mm-hmm. I might have also been thinking of another artist, but yeah, people have been trying to do their own more for older games, and I think that's incredibly cool.
On that same topic, Spanish artist Emma Rios, M. Martian on Blue Sky, has been doing a playthrough of all of the Resident Evil games and has been sketching through their experience with some just stunning artwork. So there's a full thread you can follow, and I know that
I love shit like that.
Whenever Emma finishes a set of games, they will release a zine that you can also purchase with all of the art they played over the course of the game.
Amazing.
So yeah.
I need to do that I need to play a game and like just learn. The problem is I'm a freaking slow artist. I can't do this organically, but I need to practice doing something like this because I love journaling like my thoughts on games in the form of art because it's like very interpretive. To me, that's always fascinating how people see things differently. I don't want everything to look the same. I want to see like what you think of the game.
Yeah, maybe you could do it on a smaller game, like an older Ys, or a game that you really love, like a Quintet game.
I know me. I'm gonna go hard, and I'm gonna falter.
Okay. Well, we're being really passionate about manuals right now, so why don't I segue into the most excited topic for this episode, which is what is the ideal video game manual? Share your favorites.
Okay. Yay! Who wants to go first?
Casey, would you like to begin?
Yeah, I'll do a lightning round of a couple real quick because I don't have as much to say. But so I was thinking of some nostalgic favorites, and some of them are for much smaller reasons than others. Secret of Mana was my first RPG that I played as a kid. I played that with my cousin. I played that with my brother. So it has a lot of space in my heart. But one of the
Can you?
Sure. Well, the main thing I want to say about the Secret of Mana booklet, other than that it has like the breathtaking nature scene on the cover, is
the timeless fucking piece. Goddamn.
Yes, but for me, the main thing about this is the presence of the way they depicted the main heroes in the booklet, which is clay models. So like, they're
so cute.
You have the heroes and they're all just these like nice clay sculpts of them. And those particular sculpts from the manual have stuck in my brain for decades. Like I know that I believe there's like other materials out in Japan where they have those models in different scenes, or like they put them in like a sun-dappled part of a forest. They're going on a quest. So like, but yeah, that art stuck with me for a really long time. And that's another one that gives you like half of the game
gorgeous
as far as like a strategy guide goes. But To go to a one that I can more clearly say, and this is an iconic one, I would say Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the SNES's manual, for a wide variety of reasons. One is that every character gets 2 pages. So they get a very in-depth profile. They get full color diagrams showing what their special moves look like. They also get an attempt from Capcom to explain what the moves are, both mechanically and character-wise.
Yeah.
So Dragon Punch, for example, says, using the ancient word, Sho Ryu Kin. Ryu calls forth the power of the dragon and charges his uppercut. As he leaps into the air, his power is unmatched. But then it'll explain, after he does his fireball, he uses a lot of energy and needs a moment to recover before he can attack again.
So they're explaining recovery.
Yeah, yeah. But also going using your control pad, you have to press these movements in one motion very quickly. They're explaining how to do a 360 motion, or how to do a charge motion. It's under every move. But also you have nice art, you have character relationships explained. When you have stuff like this, it's easy to understand how these characters became as big an icon as they did. And it's because they laid it all out for you in such an attractive way, but also in
the manual.
Yeah.
It's also really clear, because a lot of that early fighting games, it can be really hard, especially if you're younger, on doing a charge character, but it says very plainly sumo headbutt, using the control pad, press left and hold it for 2 seconds, then simultaneously press right and push punch button.
But also they have stuff in here that I'd never thought of as someone who's played Street Fighter for over 30 years, where it's Guile's flash kick works because he creates a vacuum with his feet as he flips, and that vacuum creates a barrier that no one can penetrate. I never thought of that move that way.
Pulls him into the air, yeah.
Yeah. So, I love the attempt to put a lot of character and depth, but also gently explain fighting game concepts we now take for granted. Because a lot of people ask, how do I get into these and how can I be expected to do these moves? And it's you just kind of had to start somewhere. And I wish it was a little easier to do that in the current age.
You know what? I realized something. I just had a memory that flashed by that I had not thought about in years. But in college, I was taking a course on I don't know, it was it's some sort of technical design or something like that. It was one of the computer courses, but it's mostly about using Illustrator and Photoshop and stuff like that, and making presenting information cleanly instructionally. And the final project of it was we had to make a manual for something, and being me, I chose a guide on how to play Street Fighter 4 because I was playing it a lot in college, and also I felt playing this game is actually kind of hard. It doesn't do a good job of explaining that to you. So it was a really interesting process in learning how to do layouts like that, how to make the information look clean but also interesting, and also just being what is a quarter circle?
Yeah, having to explain that even in this, even the Street Fighter 2 manual doesn't really have a term for quarter circle, which most people understand now what that means. You just have to sequentially have each direction. Can I read you my favorite copy so far of the Street Fighter Turbo manual?
Please.
It's in the Vega bio. Of noble blood, Vega has successfully blended the Japanese art of ninjutsu with the skills he learned as a matador. The result is a beautiful and deadly ballet, which has earned Vega the nickname of the Spanish Ninja.
Ooh.
So I did not know this. Vega's fighting style is Spanish ninjutsu.
That's true, yes.
I am amazed, and this is the stuff you learn by reading the bios in the manual.
And you weren't getting that information other than maybe you got an ending with a couple sentences in it and some art, but otherwise this all comes from here. All the stuff that we take as gospel about these characters people read in manuals.
Yeah. And now we think of it as common knowledge, but it really isn't. This was all hidden at some point.
But yeah.
All right. Any more?
Oh yeah, I have a few more. Another one is I really love the Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 manuals.
It's so good.
I think they're very attractive manuals. They have very bright colors. There's images, just with a lot of the Super Mario manuals and things in the early days. They're just images of the characters doing each action that's being described. It's all very clearly laid out. But also you have Cranky Kong doing like Statler and Waldorf type jokes about the game throughout the manuals. And
yeah. I'm looking at 2 right now, and he's got out the instructions for the controller. He says, "Look at all these buttons. It's ridiculous, I say. Kids in my day wept with joy if we gave them 2 to
one
press."
of my favorite one of these is one I cannot imagine the super litigious Nintendo of today ever allowing anyone to ever put in something again, which is at the very ending with the FBI warning about unauthorized copying. You have Cranky above it going, "Copy? Who'd want to copy this game?" And it's just like, yeah, it's.
I love it.
But also,
yeah, at the end of 2 is I'll wager this shoddy game won't even last 3 games, so you'll be needing this warranty. I can assure you.
But another thing that really got me about these 2 manuals, 1 and 2, were that there is like these little hints that games are made by people, and that the people who made the games are proud of them. Like, I was
just gonna point this out. Yeah,
I love the page next to the note section in 1 with the making of Donkey Kong Country, where they show you what a render looks like, and
they show you the wireframe model. Yeah,
and I also love in the bestiary of the henchmen in Donkey Kong Country 2, they have Neek the Bilge Rat, and just in the text there it says, "Look at that cool rendered fur." Like, after describing him as an annoying nuisance, like they're just like, yeah, but check this out.
I will thank you.
So proud of it.
Yeah, and that's so charming.
I love that all the backgrounds are like fully rendered backgrounds of like levels of the games. It's very colorful. Like, and then just there's just like a lavish amount of like items on screen, and they're kind of all over the place. So it's really like, it's really frenetic and fun. The big header text on it is like this like skateboard 90s looking text. It's very like chunky and like has all these like sharp angles on it, as it says like more swag to list out like the items and stuff. So it's just, yeah, you're right. It's very celebratory. It's very like, it has the attitude of the game, and it's like the information is clean and it's just fun to look at.
I also love that.
What?
I love that they give you every name of the animal friends, which is not information you would know if you only played the game. Again, it's stuff you can only find out if you peruse the manual.
But to this day, I know about Rambi and Ungard because I read the book. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This web-slinging spider squidder is one of the coolest new animal friends. You're right.
True. Did you see those kicks?
But yeah, love Donkey Kong Country, love the manuals. So the next one is, this is a general shout out to a company as a whole's approach to manuals, but I'm going to use a specific example. So people can say what they will and should say what they will about some of like the ways that this developer's humor and some of the other things that they changed in localizations have not aged well. But something that they did exemplary that I wish other companies had done. So I'm talking about working designs. Their RPGs like Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete, and other releases, they had robust manuals. Like,
yes.
And it wasn't just explaining how to play the game. You had illustrations everywhere, every page. Like, you had translations of the lyrics to the theme songs written in there. You had interviews with developers. You had
I like in the cast of characters, it has both the full splash art of the character, but also a film reel with different like slides of animation of the character. This is like
the blueprint of a collector's item for video games. Like the Lunar. I'm glad you brought up specifically the Lunar ones, because like they came with hardcover manuals before that was a thing.
With bookmarks.
It probably was like
they had like fabric bookmarks inside.
Yeah, like Bible-style fabric bookmarks.
There's an interview with the musician.
And it's like they really cared about, like they wanted you to care about this game, like not just in terms of the video game, but like what production went into it, like who worked on it too. Like as much as people shit on working designs these days because of their like questionable dubs, they really like cared about selling this game to like a new audience.
Yeah,
and people who were into it already.
And something that's in every working design manual that I also like is they'll have what they call translation notes, but it's not just notes about localization. It's notes about like, oh, we made this change to the game. Like we actually reduced the rate of encounters because we thought it was really tedious to play. So we upped the amount of experience you get and there's less battles. But like, I like that they made that clear and had like the guts to tell you, like, hey,
disclosure.
yeah, we made that change, you know, and that may or may not be a popular decision, but it's right there on the page for you to know, like, oh, this version I'm playing is different in this way. So yeah, there was just a lot of level of care to the game as a physical release that I really appreciate from Working Designs, and so Lunar's manual has stuck with me for many years for that reason.
God, I'm so glad you brought it up.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna give you another one. This one is mainly, the next two are as art objects. So the first one is the We Love Katamari manual.
I have that one in my notes.
Okay, I'm gonna let that one go then. I'm gonna let you bring that one up.
Yeah.
But also the WarioWare Inc. The very first
Oh.
Yes. So let me link that one real quick. But I love this guide because it is attractive as a piece of art. It's sold as like an activity book for you to play along with. So there's like little children's mazes of the characters' faces. Every 2 pages are a certain character's color, and they're written in that character's voice as they're explaining each minigame to you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's so I just found that so lovely. Just such a bright, colorful thing that really embodies the spirit of what WarioWare is.
Which is so funny because like the whole premise is you don't need any explanation on how to play the games.
Yeah, but they're here for you if you want them, you know? Like
yeah.
So yeah, I again just putting a lot of character. I also like the employment application for WarioWare Inc. at the end of it, where like there's like a little questionnaire for you to answer. Yeah, just little things like that. I have not yet played this game, but I saw this manual and I as I was looking through things. So the DSRPG Contact.
Oh, please play the game.
Yeah,
please play this game.
I've always wanted to, and that's the reason I opened the manual.
I need more people to play this game. Yes.
But I love that the manual is laid out as the professor from that game's like primitive BBS blog.
Incredible.
Yeah. I fucking
so like the whole thing
Contact was so ahead of its time.
So the whole thing in this is like the virtual diary. It looks like a live journal or something. Like it's just the professor writing everything you need to know about the game as this like live journal layout. Even including a page, again, being ahead of its time. There's a page in there where he goes, I know that you guys don't like memes, but I have to include this copy and paste so that I can explain, who I am. So yeah, it just felt like a very clever and very pleasant thing to read.
Doing it in person can be a really good way to just bring you into the world.
Yeah, I really
in character, I should say.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to really just sort of sing the praises of any game that brings more character to this than just this is a product. Like it's like no, let's bring you in a little bit more. Let's make this another extension of loving these characters. And my last two, I'm going to group together because these are things that I did not know a lot about before I did some research for this show. The first is I love a true sicko fan guide. So I happened upon chucksguides.com, which is a guy, or a team of people. I don't know if it's one person, I don't know if it's a team of people, but these are flight simulator guides for different video game flight simulators that are hundreds of pages long for each plane. And they are so dense that every one of them starts with a disclaimer that says, legally, I am not telling you how to fly a real plane. I am telling you to operate it.
They have to.
Yes, because it looks like it, but like this is just a labor of love for somebody. Like
this is just a technical manual. Like
this
is just literally something you would use to like actually pilot a plane. I can see why they have to be like. Oh my god!
And it's not just like any plane. Like these are all
24P Hind is 487 pages for just one helicopter guide.
And every single page is like a picture of a different part of the control console. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, so you have to be like admire something like that just existing in the world, even if it's not like I don't play flight simulators. I don't understand a thing I'm looking at, but I look at that and go, that is someone who cared a lot.
Dad's got to do
way
something,
too much.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it. all the same, even if I don't know shit about these aircraft.
And my last one that I'm going to present, which is another thing I do not know a lot about, because regrettably I was not able to play, but the Infocom series of narrative games, like they had a series called Zork and other things like this. I'll link a gallery of them.
I did not hear about this.
So Infocom,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
These are like old PC type games, but they're narrative story games, but like all of them have these dense feely manuals. You brought up the term feely earlier, and like they're printing field guides with like maps. They're printing things out that are like one of the manuals for one of these games has like fake travel logs for towns you could visit, but they're presented as like actual ad copy that you would read in a magazine.
Zork comes with a map with a fake language for all of the locations on it.
Yeah, but like, and they would give you like a gold doubloon in their pirate game that would come with this manual, or like, there's just all these little bits to touch, and I'm just enamored with something like that having existed. But they also did, games.
Cracking this code even back then.
They also did games like, they did a video game based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which they included in the manual.
That's beloved.
Yeah, in the manual they give you an order for the a demolition notice for the main character's house. They give you a Ziploc bag with belly button lint in it. They give you.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, they give you glasses to protect your eyes. Like and just ads that are in
all
universe,
like tongue in cheek, and like the
don't panic
humor, making it like 3D. That's pretty cool.
It's just one of those things where like looking at it, I'm like, I don't have the nostalgic experience for it, but I kind of wish I did, because it's just looking at that goes.
The secondhand nostalgia, you're getting that.
Yeah. But
that's awesome.
But I think that's broadly that's it for the ones that came front of mind and came when I was looking through things.
Hey, you brought up some really good ones. I was not expecting the guides for every aircraft simulator shit.
That took me by surprise. Awesome. Like the deeper I went, I was like, oh my god, it just keeps going. Like,
how deep does it go?
I want to while we're talking about like the Donkey Kong one, I want to post this picture of this is from WarioWare Wario World, for the GameCube, and the manual itself is fine. It's kind of like purposely a little ugly, but also like the layout is not particularly like it's just text and image and text and image. And then there's occasional pictures of Wario with like a superimposed speech bubble that's written in his dialogue, but like it's not very bespoke art. So it's fine, but I need you to see this like image near the end that is just like a biological diagram of Wario, and it says, "See what makes me tick," and it just labels like all of his parts, and it's got like an X-ray of him on the other side of the page.
Yes,
and it says stuff
we are
like
looking at his bowels.
Yeah, and it says stuff like,
I need to let people know.
Yeah, this is like
his large intestine has contents in it.
If you've ever seen like the Godzilla kaiju illustrations of like the kaiju anatomy where it's half and half, it's this for Wario.
Yeah, and it says feet, size 11. Oh, my, how lovely my feet smell. Just the other day, I pulled these shoes off and knocked out a couple of roaches with my wonderful foot odor. Bladder holds 1.1 gallons.
What the shit is this?
It's just weird and
I've
gross.
Had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough of this.
The rest of the manual it's adequate.
There's poop! He got poop!
I will say I have one more thing, and this is a little bit of a sentimental note for me, but doing research for this again, I had to look up a specific game that I have not played since I was a kid, but I looked it up because it was my late grandmother's favorite video game, which was Kickle Cubicle, which was an NES game by Irene. And so
I love this game.
So
I love
my grandma loved 3 games. She loved Dr. Mario, she loved The Adventures of Lolo, and she loved Kickle Cubicle.
Your grandma's like the GOAT. What the shit?
So she called Lolo and Kickle Cubicle, affectionately she called them my little bald men. She's like, I love my little bald men games. So she loved these like puzzle platform kind of games, and she would stay up all night playing them. Like I remember like staying at her house, and I would go to bed at like 9, and she'd be up at midnight still. Like I'd hear like Dr. Mario music or Kickle. And I thought about this because I was looking at the memo pages of all of these games and thinking like, has anyone ever used them? And I can say with confidence, my grandma used the memo pages to save her passwords for her progress. She wrote them out in pen, and they were in the manuals. Yeah. And so
and the passwords for Lola were only 4 digits, so like easy to write down.
Yeah, and then I think the Kickle ones were a little bit longer. But yeah, but just seeing those like scrawled out of like, oh, she got farther this time. Like I would know looking at the manual that she'd like gotten to the next area. So
that's beautiful.
So yeah, that just it was a very warm feeling to like look at that manual again and remember that. So yeah, I think that's where I'd have to conclude my part.
Yeah,
I kid you not, Casey. Lolo is like my favorite puzzle game on the NES, and one of my favorite things, like when I buy used manuals to like either complete incomplete copies or just from like used games I buy, I look at the notes section to see if there's any writing on it, and if there is, it's just like I love that shit. I love knowing that someone actually used the notes section in the manual.
Hell yes.
One of my favorites is I have a Legend of Zelda. I think it's 2, Adventure of Link. Someone wrote at the end, "This game is pretty good." That's it.
That's a good note.
All right.
So I guess going off of yours, I'll go. Going off of yours, Casey, I do want to bring up the We Love Katamari one specifically, because the layout of that one is as though it's a children's book.
Yeah.
So it has a little fox character, and it's sort of like presenting all the information as like him sort of learning how to do it, and he's showing it off how to do that for you. I will say my only complaint is that it is much more a storybook and less so an instruction manual. Like there's really only one piece of information per page, and it's all written very like tongue-in-cheekly, you know, to dash, move both analog sticks rapidly back and forth. The longer you keep dashing, the quicker you'll run out of steam. And it's like, it's very, 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 very cute, but it does also kind of like obfuscate some of the information, I think.
See, part of it for me though is I took it as like Katamari was a unexpected runaway hit. But if you look at the manual for original Katamari, it's a pretty straightforward like product manual compared to this, where it's like I think they saw the confidence of like, oh, a big audience found this and they know what this is now, so we can just kind of have more of what like Keita Takahashi doing what Keita Takahashi does with this manual.
It's extremely cute.
I think it does speak to somewhat of a confidence that like the buy-in and what people expect of a Katamari is more set in stone now, so you can make a cute book for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say also you can like Katamari is pretty intuitive and like you kind of figure out how to play it just by playing it. Yeah.
I think a lot of people bring up the Metal Gear Solid manual, but I would actually say that the first one is fine. The background of the pages are usually this like sort of grainy, almost like security footage, usually in like green and black and blue. And then the information is like displayed in these white boxes. I think it's fine. Like it does its job. It can be like maybe a little hard to look at, a little dense. But I think it's perfectly fine on what it does. Like visually it is very interesting, but I think where they really nail it is the Metal Gear Solid 2 manual, because the information, since it's in a longer pamphlet, they have more room, and the codex is more like, I'm calling it a codex, I guess it's designed a little bit more like it is some sort of like computer manual or something like that, where like the layout of the images has like every box, instead of just being like a stark white box on a dark background, it's more of a like the backgrounds all have like different art on it, and the boxes almost have this like key card looking shape, and they all have like a dark gray border around them, and then like an interesting color that like a pastel color that contrasts with the white text and the orange headers, so it's very clean to read. Like all the shape language in like the menus and like the headers and all that are very stylized. And in the middle of it is a little comic about Snake, and he's doing a little mission, and he's like talking about how like, oh, I'll hold R2 to like pull up the menu and swap to this item. And it's just like the art's really cute, and it's informative, but it's also just really fun. But then after that, they just have very plain like, if you want to crouch, push X, and it has a like black and white image of Snake standing and then an arrow pointing down and Snake crouching. Like it both presents the information in a helpful way, but also in a stylish way.
Okay.
Infographics go a long way. They really do.
Yeah, just plainly showing, like, this is what the character looks like walking up to a wall. This is what your back will look like when you're on the wall. Because you don't want that information to be, like, questionable. Like, if you're not up against the wall and an enemy would have caught you otherwise, you'll feel bad.
Yeah. And also, seeing that image transcends language barriers. Like, everybody can see a guy against a wall and go, I know what that means.
Yeah. I want to highlight one of my favorite manuals of all time, and basically the onus for this entire episode, and that's just how much I love the Pokemon, the original Pokemon's Red and Blue, their manual.
Let's go!
Because
can you share that, please?
Yes. So the manual, the cover of the manual is a faux leather-bound spiral notebook, and it says Pokemon Trainer's Guide in sort of an embossed-looking font, and all the pages are like a beige with like a little bit of the like pulp texture on it.
I remember, yeah.
It looks like a little notebook. The font is like a little squiggly, so it's almost like children's handwriting. But it's very clean to read. It's not just like full cartoony. It has like not as many like straight up just like images in it, but it'll have like a flow chart of the map of the world in a very plain, like, here you start in Pallet Town and like here's how all the cities link to one another. It's got the Ken Sugimori just beautiful watercolor out throughout the whole thing. It's very like clear in how like the information is put out to you, but it's got all these like Oak's memos of like first time players start with Bulbasaur, the grass type Pokemon. These are more successful against rock type Pokemon. And so it's like, yeah, because if you've read the manual, like, you wouldn't be frustrated if you fought Brock and knew like, okay, I picked the hard one. They have a whole chart on the typing, which is really important when you're young and you don't understand how this works necessary. And it's this whole like grid of like, here's the attack type, here's the Pokemon type, what is effective, like not very effective, or like doesn't work at all. And it's presenting a lot of information that is flavorful to the world and cute and fun and easy to read, and I think it's perfect. I think this is the perfect manual.
Looking at it again too, like something that really caught my eye now is that the Pokemon list at the end of the book is incomplete. So you get some of the art for some of the Pokemon, but there are gaps. And and like it's almost like they want you to go in and doodle your findings. Like, can you draw the Pokemon you saw there? And I'm wondering if anyone ever did that. Like,
yeah, you're right. Because like it'll do it a lot too.
Together, leaves things for like leave a surprise for the player. Like leave some for the imagination. I really love that.
Or if you haven't done it, it could be a project to do now. Like, can you go in and just draw the ones in the manual for somebody or something?
God, that would be great. Yeah, get some white out, draw it down. Like that'd be so great. And like all the layout there, it's like these. Almost they look like marble tablets with their number and their name and like the Ken Sugimori art. So it's just like it's beautiful. Like it's such a product of its time, but it's like so clear and so elegant.
It's a very complete guide, and props to Nintendo for knowing that this was going to hit it big in the US, because I think that's the reason they went all out with Pokemon.
Yeah,
even before it came out.
I got to bring up the big one. I think like no discussion about this. Like, people would be upset if we didn't include it.
Okay.
But it is Earthbound, which its guide was a whole
Earthbound.
It was a whole guide, like
So the game was
135 pages.
Listen, anyone tries to sell you a small box version of Earthbound, they're a fucking scam artist.
It didn't
this
exist.
Game was only packaged with it was only a big box game available in retail in the US because Nintendo of America was afraid that it was a little too alienating in the style of RPG that it was, because it wasn't like Final Fantasy, it wasn't like I'm trying to think of other Chrono Trigger. Like it had like, it was a very traditional RPG.
Yeah, they were already nervous about selling Final Fantasy over here at the time. So like,
yeah, and in order to encourage players to be able to jump in the game comfortably, they included a strategy guide with the game, which essentially was the manual for Earthbound.
Yeah. And like it still has the like, here are the characters, but it has those beautiful clay models, and like, here are the controls. Here's how you talk to someone. But it's very clean. The titles in them, like all of the capital letters are like different pastel colors, and so it's just very like cute and charming, and it feels very warm. But then, you know, the text is just very easy to read, even though it's like just stark white. It's just the amount of space they have is
it's very classy.
Yeah, very classy. But then when you get to the meat of it, it is the Earthbound travel guide, and all of the layouts of this like step-by-step guide of how to get through the game are presented like a literal travel guide. So OnNet has fake photographs of like the bay and the lighthouse and the arcade of like real life things.
That is so good.
Yeah,
I fucking love that. And when Fangamer did the Earthbound handbook, they tried to like they took inspiration from this guide by using like clip art for like certain locations and photos and characters.
Do you mean the Mother 3 one?
This is no, they did an Earthbound, the Mother 2 one.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. So
and like this was like a direct inspiration to that.
The guide on like the prices on the OnNet drugstore like has actual pictures of like a bat and a cap, and it looks a little bit like an old like newspaper ad or something like that. So it's just like, this is the perfect guide because it is in universe.
It's a labor of love.
It is a labor of love, and you can tell like both like the abstraction, but also like how you're supposed to feel going into this. Like it's everything.
It's
I cannot stop gushing about this.
It captures it really well. And also like this was this was like for the US only. Like I don't they were really trying to get this game like in contrast to like the marketing campaign that the infamous now the this game stinks shit. They were really going all out for like the actual game content itself. They knew they had some faith in it succeeding at least. It's nice to see it in this guide how much they really did believe in it.
It is
at some
God.
point.
It is such a high effort, accurate look at what like tabloids and magazines at the checkout counter of the grocery store actually looked like at the time.
To explain the fact that there's like blockage to get to Forsyth, there's a newspaper article of desert traffic snarled all day with a picture of like actual traffic, like real cars.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Gift boxes found abandoned in desert is the headline.
It feels like an issue of like the Weekly World News, but in the world of like Rankin and Bass claymation, you know? It's
Oh, speaking of, that clay model of Ness is the US version. This was not they updated him to look a little cooler and taller for the US.
Really?
So this model actually doesn't exist. It was a Photoshop of the original.
Let me see. So I'm trying to see if I have any other ones. That one I think also is maybe a bit unreasonable because not every game could like put that a full book basically. Like this is a full book.
But this is still a celebration of times that an effort was made. So I think it deserves that.
Yes. The graphic design in this is stellar. I'm like going through it. Like I could learn a thing or two from this still, even if it is dated. Like it's well done.
Like personally, a pet peeve of mine is I hate the phrase "they didn't have to go this hard" because they did, or you wouldn't be talking about it now.
You're right. You're right.
It's they did have to go this hard, and we love it to this day. This is a perfect object.
They also, I love that they get Earthbound too with this guy. Like, they
no,
really
they do. Like, it's not, it's not this game stinks. It's like, no, this is funny and weird and wacky, and come on this adventure with us.
Yeah, look at these these are real places. These are real places you should go to and be interested in. I don't know. I love it.
It captures both the mundanity and the silliness. It feels like you would see the happiest in on the cover next to Batboy and you wouldn't flinch. It's
God. And another all-timer that I'll bring up, because again, like, what conversation would be complete without it, is the original Legend of Zelda manual. I think that is a beloved manual. It's funny too, because going through it, it's not necessarily
for Zelda 1.
Yeah, for Zelda 1. It's not it's necessarily doing anything that's like crazy like Earthbound is. It's more just it is exactly what it needs to be. Oh, I love
this one. Okay, now I remember. Yes,
it opens with a full page spread of a long time ago. The world was in an age of chaos with this whole fantasy map and like this like italicized like fantasy font going over the whole story of the game. Most of the manual is just like the clean, classy white. It'll have like big bold red headers and then like image and text on either side of it, and it's just very easy to read. It fills the space nicely, and has like little.
This is the story too. That wasn't in the game. They're telling you the story, the background.
Yeah,
yeah. I guess it'll have like
and
little,
why you should care.
Little like kind of salmon colored titles at the bottom that are adding like little side notes of like the tips or like story beats. It does the very clear, like, here's how you move. Like, look, Link starts his journey. Like, here's a diagram of the controller. Here's a picture of Link. Here's what the buttons do. They have like all the different...
They also use the Japanese illustrations, which is great.
Yeah, I was about to say, they have all of the illustrations of the items with the sprites next to them. So you can very clearly tell, like, this is what you'll see. And this is the intent of this abstraction. And like, this is the name of it. Including the Zola, half fish, half woman. Ooh.
Hey.
Sign me up, brother. So yeah, it's just a very perfect example of like, it's got a little bit of like how to actually like play the game mechanically, a little bit of tips on how to play the game. The information is just like clean. It does a good job of like doing the abstract and the literal. Like it has a full page like map that you can fill out.
Yes. Okay. I was going to say again, to the point of like, you were not really supposed to go in blind to these games. Like that you were supposed to play it with the reading material in hand. Like this was provided to you. Some of the map is blank because they do want to like let you explore and discover things organically, but there is a degree of like, no, you should like, here's a guide.
Yeah,
this is where all
here's a
these
couple
items
of
do.
tips.
You're not just supposed to figure it out. This is not what game design was back then. A lot of people think retro games are obtuse on purpose. They weren't. You were supposed to read this.
But that's what happens when you're only able to play them out of context. You're able to download it from digital storefront or something, but you don't have they don't offer you the original context. So in some way,
them. Yeah.
So in some ways,
like what would you have to do? Like as you're downloading the game, that like pops up the manual and it forces you to have to flip through it for a little bit.
You have to put it in your printer and like staple it together like a zine, while you're waiting for the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know it's probably only like a megabyte or something. Not even. It's probably like 100 kilobytes or something. But no, like you're gonna wait for this game while it's downloading. We're gonna give you the PDF, and you're gonna have to wait 15 minutes. And we'll not let you play this game until you read a couple of pages.
Oh my god!
But I do like what this manual and some of the other ones we've talked about do though, where they tell you enough about like, here's how to clear the first couple areas of the game. By that point, the game expects that you understand it well enough that you can be off on your own. It's like teaching somebody how to ride a bike. Like, all right, you have the mechanics, now go and do it.
Yeah, now figure out how to jump with this thing or something. Yeah, so I think. In trying to summarize this, I think all these manuals, like, they don't necessarily have to be like, oh, this is an old tome found in Hyrule, but like, I think just making sure that like it just feels like these are the people who want you to play this game. They love it too, and they're explaining it to you very clearly, in the style of the game or in a way that feels appropriate. Like this is more room for more art. And having that information like gives you a context for how to feel and how to read this imagery. And I just think that is amazing and beautiful, and that's why like these guides are just so good.
Excellent one.
Yeah, Jorge, those are kind of my highlights. I've got more, but I want to give you more time, so please.
Do you want to do like quick? Just mention them. Just mention quick ones. You don't have to.
Yeah. Here, let me pull up my notes again.
I'm so sorry. I'm making you pull up your notes.
We already covered a lot of them. I'll just throw in Sly Cooper is really good because it's the manual is the Thievius Raccoonus, and instead of having like literal pictures, it has like these very skeleton illustration blocks of Sly Cooper doing the move, and it has like quips. It's a little hard to read sometimes, and sometimes the quips can kind of break the flow of the information. The color choice on the background versus the text can be a little harsh, but I think it's a really good manual. So, and then honestly, I would just recommend just click random manuals and start reading them. Like, the Super Mario RPG one, I've got that pulled up, and it's got like Luigi giving you tips as it goes throughout. It's just really cute.
Nice.
So, but I'll stop gushing. Jorge, what do you got?
But I love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of work up to I guess I'll start with one that I always like talking about when it comes to video game manuals. And it's called Cubivore.
I forgot to bring that one up
on GameCube. Don't worry, I got you. I will send it to you all so that you can see. So this one, the reason I like this one is because kind of like it's like if that one page in the Warrior World manual where they just show him like a half of him a skeleton. What do you call that when you can see the inside?
Like the
when they show
anatomy
like half of him
thing?
in X-ray. Yeah, but it's like the whole book is basically like a study on the cubivores and how they function, how they work. There's like detailed art of their insides and their skeleton structure and
simultaneously
like how they grow.
like a cute little comic book and also a biology textbook.
Yes, and it doesn't shy away from like the weird things about the game, like, oh, it's time to mate, and then they just go into that. It's I don't know, it always gets cited as, well, it used to always get cited as like a really esoteric offbeat manual, and I don't think it's that weird, but like it is kind of cool to have like I would call it maybe like a fourth wall type of manual where like they don't really acknowledge that it's a game, but they have to because it's the instruction booklet.
I am looking at this Swiss cheese skull right now that's drawn anatomically like detailed.
Yeah, it's those weird skeletons that people do for like cartoon characters that like don't make any sense, or like the Target skeletons, but it's for cubivores.
But as you said, it's like drawn like a science textbook though. Like it's
Yeah, exactly. It's like a journal basically. And then another one I want to shout out. This one I never played this game, and I always wanted to. I just never had the chance. And it's not even the English version of it. The manual for Snatcher on the, what was this, PC-88? Yeah, PC-8801. It's like it kind of has like all the parts that I feel like I need for a perfect manual, in my opinion, where it not only talks to you about like how to play the game, it introduces you to the lore and the story. It has a comic in the beginning, which was included in the US version, the comic was, but it was flipped, back then people didn't want to read right to left, so it was flipped in the US version. But then it also has like your character info, it has your instructions, it has like detailed information on like vehicles and
it has
your
like
weapons,
breakdowns and diagrams of snatchers as though it were like technical information that you would need to read.
Yeah. It shows you like a model of the Metal Gear Mark II, a timeline. Yeah. And then to end it at the end, it has production notes and like making of Snatcher to kind of, again, make you care about the people who worked on this game.
Storyboards.
Which is something I really wish. Yeah, it's just a thing I wish more manuals would do, is just kind of remind you, hey, people worked on this. I have the Oddworld Abe's Odyssey manual on here for that reason too. Like, not only does it have like a collection of like renders, kind of like the DKC manual did, because that team was so proud of those graphics back then, but at the end of the book they show you a photo of the staff who worked on the game.
Oh, that's
so very
cool.
important to contextualize. Yeah, it contextualizes. I don't have that one handy, but let me see if I can get that for you real quick.
I've got it pulled up too.
No, I was going to say, I just feel like given the current context in which the gaming industry exists, and which can be very demoralizing for all parties involved, like there's something about seeing like the humanity of the developers and the team on display that is so restorative that it would be nice, like, another function of like, what could a game manual be these days is to celebrate these teams beyond just the producer class that considers them disposable.
We need to go back to that because, and something me and Kyle discussed in the show before, is that we are kind of detached from the idea that people are making these games, because what we attach to is either, at worst, a company, a corporation, a name, and at best, the auteur, like the lead designer, like the lead director. And that's just like incomplete information into what exactly goes into this thing that you're consuming rapidly just to get to the next thing. You're not appreciating the fact that this was like, this took time to make. This took hands to make. People worked on this stuff.
And the business people you hate want that level of obfuscation. They want the people to be disposable.
Yeah, they don't want you to think of that. They don't want you to see the seams. They want you to think this is a thing that came from heaven, and I provided it to you. Your benevolent
billionaire
provider corporation. Yeah.
Also, you did a bit of a disservice saying there's a group photo in the background. They all have butcher's uniforms on, and they're all completely drenched in blood.
No, I don't know.
But
I actually did forget about that.
This is how the sausage is made, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Oh, a game, Abe's Odyssey, a game about corporations like killing workers for profit. Oh my god.
And I think that's maybe the ultimate takeaway here is that all of these manuals and all of like the reasons that we like them is that they are a very utilitarian like thing. There are a tool for interacting with the game to make it an easier thing for you to do, but also like you see so much more avenues for the artistry, for the people that make these games. There's just more avenues for you to appreciate these games, more like ways to imagine it, that it's not just the game. It's also like, you know, what kind of city is Tucson like? It doesn't have to be like a complete abstraction. It just pulls you into the world all that more.
And maybe that's what we need out of modern video game manuals is like making of. It's like here is what went into this. Here's like a little bit of a reason for you to care about this outside of I'll be cool if I play this and all my friends will know about it.
Yeah, get me off of the wikis and get me onto the portfolio pages of some of these like artists and writers and developers and programmers.
Well, and yeah, it's
go on.
You know, it's such a it's such an antidote to the very situations we find ourselves in. Like there has to be space for you to be able to like learn and care about the process beyond just like the few independents that are successful enough to let you in, you know, like you look at these manuals and you go, oh my God, big companies used to let people do this too. Like a better industry is possible. And it was possible not that long ago.
Nope. Like maybe a few decades ago. And yeah, it would also be the antidote to like, just the detachment people have to the product, the way we treat games as products. I don't know. I think
the disposability of all art.
Yeah.
With like exactly. With the rise of social media, I feel like there's way too much of a rapid consumption cycle that we fall victim to, and we don't realize that like we're not truly connecting with anything if we're just like there to like beat a game, finish a game, like play video game, next video game. Like it would be better if you understood like how much work went into this. We already spoke about the Megaman X manual. I'm glad we did because that was in my list. I also want to shout out since we already spoke about the Legend of Zelda manual, I'll just quickly shout out the Link's Awakening one, which has beautiful illustrations. And it was the thing I love about this one in particular. I will send it to you right now. The thing that I love about this one in particular is the illustrations are far more detailed. But also they were like using limited colors for the print on this one, and I don't know if it was by accident, but the illustrations look better because of that. I don't know. They have like a timeless feeling
actually,
to them
one
now.
of the few
like,
manuals I do own is
I don't know if it was because they knew it was a Game Boy game or they just like were saving money on ink.
Yeah, like all the coloring in this makes you look like you're observing Link in every pose at like the perfect golden hour dusk, where it's like, you know, it's got that hazy, dreamy feel
beautiful.
that the game wants to impart.
Oh, this was one of those manuals as a kid I would constantly flip through, and I remember thinking, oh, Link is kind of cute in this one.
I
love these illustrations.
I like this picture on showing you that you can jump down certain ledges, and it's got the illustration of him like mid-jump. And he's got like a bit of this like upskirt shot going on. He's got a little bit of booty.
That is so cute. That is kind of adorable. I fucking love that one. That one is not in the American one, and you know why. But that's one of my favorite drawings of okay, so and then finally I will mention what basically defined the ideal video game manual for me is Illusion of Gaia.
Yes.
Yep.
Holy shit, I will take every opportunity to talk about my favorite game on the Super Nintendo of all time. this was again this was an effort on the part of the localizers to make people like ease people into this genre, like help people out with like, because Illusion of Gaia was a challenging game. They didn't want they weren't expecting anyone to just jump right into it. And it's also surprising that it got like support from Nintendo Power, because Illusion of Gaia was being marketed as like the competitor to Zelda in the US. And it's not developed by Nintendo. It was developed by Quintet, published by Enix, even in the US. But yeah, this manual has everything. It starts out with the backstory. It tells you the origin of the comet.
I love that the background is like this sort of like cracked granite as well.
Oh my god, it's like it feels like textured. It's like, and the Japanese manual is not like this at all. It was a lot more like to the point and bare bones. And they did replace the Moto Hagio illustrations.
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
A bit of a shame. But they replaced it with an artist they collaborated with. I believe it was Shuji Imai, who drew the Howard and Nestor comics on Nintendo Power. I actually tweeted about this, and guess what, Minovsky, you replied to me in this
there you go.
tweet. That is incredible. And then freaking, I tagged Derek Yu, because I'm like, Derek Yu would probably know, and I didn't expect him to reply either. And he did, and it was like a cool moment of like, wow, all these cool people are talking to me. Oh my god!
Do you see how full circle this is? We're back talking about Illusion all these years later.
But it's because I'm like, wait, this was not like they redrew Will and Kara for the portraits in the American manual. So
but it's still,
I was
it keeps
curious,
a lot of
who
the
did
same
this?
like it's in the same style. It's just different.
I was trying to figure this out earlier too.
The thing is that. The thing is that like this was so influential to me. I remember seeing this art and being like, I want to draw just like this. Back then, when I was like however old I was when I played this, it's been so long now. And then the other thing I really love about this, aside from like the excellent typography, graphic design, illustrations, was that at the very end they would give you a word of caution, which was basically a spoiler warning. The information, tips, and techniques described in the following pages may reduce the challenge of Illusion of Gaia. The strategy general recommends that you attempt to solve puzzles and work through areas of the game on your own before turning to these pages for help. Once you've turned the page, you will lose your innocence. And it just has a big warning, caution in like just shadows that are supposed to be like emerging from the granite background.
We see, and then like
it's basically.
These old games had it figured out. Like
we haven't been
as much as you need.
We haven't been the same as a country since we disbanded the posts of Strategy General.
The Strategy General. Who was he? We need to know. But yeah, something I do love about there's a mini walkthrough at the end of the manual, and it's more brief. It doesn't have like detailed maps. But it does kind of give you like the beat for beat. Okay, you should by this point you should be here. Now the important thing about this is that it does help you find every red jewel in the game, which admittedly some can be very obtuse. So this was like extremely helpful information, regardless of like whether you're a new or old player, because by acquiring every red jewel, you did unlock like the secret extra stage that tied the lore to Soul Blazer, the game that came before it. So this is kind of an amazing little piece of work here. I still have my manual of Illusion of Gaia from back when I rented the game so much that I did a little bit of thievery and kept the manual when I returned the game to Blockbuster because I loved it so much. But it was so beat up and destroyed. It was basically taped together, and I still have it here. I don't want to pull it up because I'm afraid of breaking it at this point. It's been through so much. It's been through all of my moves in my life. Because again, like this was my favorite game even back then. I just wanted to keep remembering it when I wasn't playing it, and I would rent it every other week just because I'm like, man, I really want to see if I can get to the end. And I remember cheating a little bit and playing other people's files just to get past parts that I couldn't get through. And that's basically how I experienced this game. It's a very fond memory I have of Illusion of Gaia, and the manual is a big part of that. This is like one of perhaps my favorite manual of all time.
I also rented it a dozen times as a kid, and I also used other people's files to get past parts I couldn't get past.
It's so good. Yeah. I used to do that all the time with Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire 2, Final Fantasy. I used to play other people's files just to be like, what the fuck? I didn't care about spoilers back then. I was like 10.
Yeah. You getting a one-up on this video game? Like, heck yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on here. Oh, shit, you can play a shadow? Holy fuck!
Before... No, that's amazing, Jorge. I know you love this game, and I love it too. But like, it's wonderful to see how many avenues that covers.
It remains my favorite game of all time, and for personal reasons that I won't get into. But yeah.
Oh, actually, before I forget, there is one more manual I want to bring up,
and it is.
I posted
Space
in the
Harrier.
chat.
Yeah. Ba, ba, ba.
I tricked you, Jorge.
Is it because it's the question zone?
Yep.
Welcome to the question zone. Get ready.
Yes, welcome to the question zone. We've lost the notes I have for the copy for the question zone.
Do you want to start this over?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's great. Leave it.
Goodness gracious. No, my brain's like fried from talking about all those. We've entered the question zone. We've solicited a number of questions. You can contact us at brainlordspod@gmail.com. And our first inquiry, and thank you.
You can't contact us. Don't contact us.
Thank you, Casey, for helping us solicit, because we got so many responses. So we'll have to...
we actually got way more questions than we usually do. Can I say something real quick about this manual?
What?
It's confirming what I already knew in my heart. That the robot in the title screen is just the fucking Dom from Gundam. Because it's called Dom in the manual.
They knew.
They fucking knew. Anyway, go on.
Yes, so Lily asks, I've been replaying the second Klonoa game recently for a partner, and oftentimes they'll have questions about the setting or the monsters that I'll tend to just go, oh yeah, there was something about this in the US manual, and it made me recall how badly I missed having supplemental information that just can't come with the game. So my question is, do you have a favorite game manual with a feature like a map or a bestiary? This will probably come up in the pod itself too, but what are some of your favorite pieces of information to see included in the manuals? Does it have any effect on how you engage with the title you're playing once you're able to start? I finally always manage to whet my appetite, but this is already multiple questions and pretty long, so I'm going to submit it. Thanks and have a good one. Hope today goes well. And thank you, Lily. I'm going to rest after this, so today will go well.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like favorite feature with a game manual, I don't even know if it's the map necessarily. I do like when the map is like hand drawn, almost like a piece I can hang.
Yeah. Like I had the I'm gonna go to the Mario RPG one and see what their map looked like, if they just straight up do it or if they do an interpretation. Oh, they do. So they do kind of what the render is meant to look like. I really like that, actually. It's really cute. And it's got Luigi going, wow, this world is huge. So this is where Mario's going to travel. I wonder if he'll be going to Moleville or the sunken ship. Oh, I love that. That's my answer right there.
I mean, I guess like my answer was Illusion of Gaia, just because it has like a walkthrough that doesn't really spoil the story too much for you. Character bios, introduction to the story, the setting, the lore, and then detailed information about what items do. And the Zelda 1 manual is a really good example of this too. It's just like complete, like feature complete manual, doesn't leave any gaps, and it's more helpful, even essential to the game experience rather than supplementary.
Casey, you got any favorite bestiaries or maps?
So I'm trying to think of the bestiaries that are like especially attractive, because I was thinking of one, and looking at it today, I was like, oh, this is not as elaborate as I remember it being, when I was 3. So, I talked about earlier how some old manuals have an outsized influence compared to looking at them now, what they actually look like. So for example, the cover art for Ghosts and Goblins was very evocative to me as a kid. Like, the monster Astaroth, which is the horned blue furry demon. I remember that so vividly, and it's something I tried to doodle a lot as a kid. But looking at the manual now and its bestiary, like, it's very simple, and the drawings are just like one crude line drawing in black and white of each monster and the amount of points they're worth. And maybe like a one sentence strategy. So like, it's not as robust as I remember. But I would say things like, I'm sure, and unfortunately I don't have a specific example off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's got to be some Dragon Quest manuals that do like good things with the bestiaries there, because that is such a rich bestiary. So probably one of those.
Oh. Yeah, the old Dragon Warrior NES games came with like cheat sheets, like hard cardstock cheat sheets for you to like just kind of flip through real quick in case you needed like a little bit of quick tips and help. That was really cool with those. I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and as far as a favorite feature goes, that's not related to that. I was looking at the manual for the SNK fighting series, Art of Fighting, and in the original game, because there's such a family drama story element in a time where fighting games were just learning to have stories, they included on the story page a elaborate 2-page spread of a relationship chart with arrows pointing at all the characters and how they relate to one another. And I love stuff like that. Like, that's such a high effort thing to do, and it's such a good way of just selling dynamics beyond these two guys want to fight to win.
Trailblazing, yeah.
I love, for bestiaries, I love all the Kirby games. Will often have like just a list of their creatures, and it's always like Glubo and Snappy and Pookums and all these like weird little, like, I guess they have names.
Super Mario World 2, really. Like, such an attractive manual, but also the illustrations of all the enemies in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the something I should have mentioned, man, I love these. They don't do them anymore, but like the speaking of hard cardstock pack-ins, the ones that came with N64 games that were kind of like teaching you how to play each game, because the N64 control was banana bonkers and like no one knew what the fuck to do with it, so they had to include like separate little guides for like controls in a separate piece of paper. But they were always like rich in graphic design. They were always beautiful and gorgeous, and they used all the pre-rendered key art just as like deco, and I love that.
All right. Our next question is from John Gaming, who says, does anyone have any memories of a game manual sending them on a wild goose chase? I can tell you that the Pokemon manual has it correct that that Ghost is effective against Psychic, but the game was glitched and that did not work.
I don't think I can come up with a better one than that.
Yeah, I can't think of any. Like, oh, okay, I know one, but it's not in a game manual. It was in a strategy guide. The strategy guide for Super Smash Bros. Melee came out before the game was finished in the US. Before they finished the translation and localization of the US version. So in the manual is included two things that do not exist in the final version of the game. Number one is Ditto, the Pokemon, was going to be in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and what they did was pretty much what you expect them to do. They would copy the other you or the other player and then start fighting as them.
So it's like Mokujin from Tekken.
What's that?
Like Mokujin from Tekken, the wooden doll that just does the fighting styles?
Yeah, but you know, in purple with like the weird like texture, that never made it to the final version of the game. But I guess because the version they probably got to work with was the alpha, they had it. And then the other thing was the Discoon trophy, which is not in the US version, but is in the strategy guide, and it tells you how to get it. And I remember meeting those conditions and being like, why the hell am I not getting Discoon? And that's also how I found out who Discoon is, so it was pretty cool in that respect. But yeah, I was like pulling my hairs like, what the shit is going on? Like, I'm doing what it's telling me to do, and I just am not getting the trophy.
That's I knew about the Ditto one, but not about the Discoon one. That's cool. Why don't we go to our next question then? From The Fool, they ask, you ever have a crazy video game manual story? I walked into a store once and saw a PS1 RE2 manual, and the owner told me I could just take it.
Yeah, seeing Darkstalkers 3 obliterated over the little lost child of lust thing is mine.
Okay, yeah, we went into that. A crazy video game manual story. I mean, no, I don't. I can't say I remember any. Kyle, do you?
No, I think we got it with the Darkstalkers one.
We're not gonna top that. That's the thing.
Certainly. All right. Well, thank you, The Fool. You already got what you wanted. Gavadon asks,
Get out of here.
Yeah. Some of the video game rental places in my town would give you the actual manual with the game, and I can remember the feeling popping in to the back and seeing who had left notes and passwords for the next renter.
Yeah.
It was a really cool analog kind of feel being helped out by random kids in your neighborhood with your tips. Any times where a mysterious note in a manual saved your ass? Do you have a piece of art that lives rent-free in your head from a manual? Mine will always be the Legend of Zelda artwork in the NES manuals.
Oh my god, I have an answer for that last one.
Go for it.
No, you guys should start.
Mysterious note in a manual saved my ass.
I wish.
So, I'm sorry, Cal. It's time to bring up Ninja Gaiden. The manual for Ninja Gaiden teaches you how to block and how to do your dodge rolls, and the game does not. That's one of those like that for the reboot for the Xbox version. That game has no tutorials, and if I ever thought a game needed that shit, it's Ninja Gaiden 2004. Thankfully, the manual helps you out, and there's things that I was like, shit, why isn't this in the fucking game?
I can think of one now. I think one time when I rented, it was either Megaman X 2 or 3, but in the back was a password for basically like 100% like all collectibles or something like that someone left in there. And I just remember putting that in and being like, I'm all powerful.
Oh,
so that was really cool.
The East manual saved my ass too, because the game itself will not give you descriptive definitions of what each item does, but the manual did. And I remember because I played East on the TurboGrafx Mini, I had to look up the manual to find what a specific item does. And in the manual it just says allows teleportation, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Sure.
Oh, so I have to use it in this, blah, blah. And I was like, it clicked for some reason. That's all they needed to tell me, and it just clicked for me. And then for the piece of art that lives rent-free in my head, the siren from Kid Icarus.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before.
Because she is titties out. Her titties are out, bro.
I mean,
and I remember seeing that being like, what the shit?
Yeah, I think for me it probably was the ditto in that guy just being like, why was that in there? It's just so odd. And then
for me, manual art-wise, it was that manuals were the first places I saw a lot of the fighting game artists I've come to just like love my entire life. Like it's the first place I saw Shinkiro or Kinu Nishimura or Bingus. You know, so like these artists who still are very important to me and who I still buy art books for, I saw them first in those booklets, and that's why they stuck with me for so long.
Yeah. Honestly, I think mine is just all of the illustrations and stuff in the Pokemon book. It's just so evocative.
Nice.
But yeah, let's go on to our next question, which is from Cleomancer, who says, when I was a kid, our family was stuck with a 286 as a game specs, marched into the 486 and Pentium area. But somehow I ended up with a copy of SimCity 2000 I got through a PC Magazine subscription. I was fascinated with the manual for it, 140 pages, detailed explanations of everything, and a set of essays and artworks in the back. When we finally upgraded, I finally got to make good on all those years of hoping. Genuinely one of my most treasured books as a kid. I remember the A-Train, also from Maxis, had similarly sized manuals, also with technical specs for the trains, essays, and poetry.
Oh, nice.
But since I was able to play it on the 286, which I don't know why I pronounced 286, there wasn't that same degree of importance in my childhood.
Nice,
that's a wonderful story, Cleomancer. Thank you.
Yeah,
right,
I really
the next
I
one?
really do feel
Oh,
like
sorry.
we missed out though not being as big on PC games as kids, because like
we really did.
It feels like, you know, like you talk about this, then you look at PC games like, oh, we really had like the baby mode manuals, like, you know, we had like 20 pages.
We did.
They had to fit in the box too.
Yeah, and then PC games come out with like 200-page epics. Like I looked at the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 manuals, and those are just D&D like, you know, campaign books. Like,
rightfully so.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to read the next one, Jorge.
All right. Dia Sorcerian is the best to ever do it, Lucina asks, or says, beyond maps and the attempts at injecting story into early 8-bit games that often didn't have enough room for even vague gestures at cutscenes, I really love when video game manuals would include every item in the game with what I can only assume was concept art of the item in question. I really love Dracula's heart from Castlevania II Simon's Quest manual because it looks like a weird little bean. That's true, I remember it. What are some of your favorites? I don't know. We've talked about it.
Items. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know. If items.
No, I like how we were talking about the Zelda manual. It's nice to see the bracelet doesn't actually look like a croissant. So I like that. Extremely hyped for the episode. Much love. P.S. It is still wild to me that the Simon's Quest manual includes common anime illustrations under the heading Dracula's Best Buddies.
Aww.
That's very cute. Honestly, I think Konami especially was really good at that point at putting all the items in a manual. Like, I believe like Legend of Mystical Ninja did that too. And looking at like some of the Contra manuals earlier, like they have a screenshot of every kind of shot that every character can do. And it's like, okay, they're giving you all the guns. They're all laid out for you, so.
The Yoshi's Island manual has like these like pencil illustrations of all the different forms you can take in the game. And like when it has like the green watermelon, it cuts to like a diagram of Yoshi spitting seeds versus fire versus ice for the other watermelons. So it's just like, I don't know, all these little basically like mini comics of like what the things are supposed to be. Although I do agree, like I think the best is when it's just literally drawing what the thing is supposed to be and being like, oh, it ain't okay. Yeah, I need to look up Dracula's Best Buddies, but thank you, Dia. That was excellent.
You need to look up the vocal tracks for Castlevania. I forget which one it was. They did like a they did like an audio I think
drama?
It was based on vocal tracks like of themes in the game with lyrics and shit, and they're so goofy. I need to send that to you. Later.
Would you like to read the next question then?
Yeah, of course. Red Rum Dum Dum asks, when I got my copy of Astrobot on launch day, I was pleasantly surprised to see that one of the side of the double-sided poster that came with the game also served that. Wait a minute, what? That came with a game? I need to check my copy. Also served as an instruction manual in the form of a comic. What was the last major release in the past decade or so that you were surprised came with a manual, and do you think posters are an acceptable replacement for them? I'm going to say no on that last one, but I will say, like, again, this is shameless plug, but the Into the Breach manual is really good.
Oh, yeah.
Just because we did... like us at Fangamer, we collaborated with like devs and the wiki just to like put as much information. I think my friend John K was the one who designed that manual. He went too hard. Earlier you were saying, Casey, that like they did not need to go this hard for something. And I'm like, yes, I agree with the sentiment, but there are in this situation, I was like, no, we went too fucking hard. Like,
think of your health, though.
That manual needed to be done, and we were like overworking on it. But what came out of it is like one of my favorite modern manuals of in physical games media. So I was very proud to be a part of that.
Side note, Count Dracula's Best Buddies, tag yourself. I'm Slimy Bar Sinister.
I'm Freddy.
Who's just like a lizard, man.
This is so good. I'm the two-headed creature.
Ooh. Gross.
Actually, you know what? I do have to go back because I was looking again at the Ghosts and Goblins manual, and it does have very crude illustrations of every item. And so I'm going to say go back to Ghosts and Goblins. And when I say crude illustrations, like these are adorable, like a developer's child drew them or something. They look like what I was drawing back in the day, and I love it for that. So
that's always charming, yeah.
Well, our next question is from Rant Howard, who says, The manual for Pokemon Red/Blue, hey, as well as the pack-in player's guide for Earthbound gave a real sense of visiting and exploring another world before starting the game proper.
Sure does.
As in, you're not just flipping on the game to be beaten, you're an active tourist who will be rewarded for paying attention. Meanwhile, the in-game manual for Tunic plays on that familiarity as players gradually retrieve a couple pages at a time, referring to an adventure already in progress. My question for the podcast is there any game manual you especially wish would have been more immersive towards its setting? A game whose players screamed out for verisimilitude, but were silenced by a simple controller diagram.
Wow, that's a great question. Because I don't know.
I'm going to say that I agree with you that I like the illustrations in it and I like the lore dumps. But the Megaman X manual should be a lot better. It should look like technical diagrams. It should have like mechanical parts sticking.
It should have had a little more like
look at this picture right here. I'm about to post in the chat.
Okay.
Of like,
all right.
It's power systems. X is powered by a microfusion fuel tank. His current energy level is indicated by an energy meter on the upper left corner of the screen. Each time X is damaged, his energy meter will decrease. If all his energy is lost, X's fusion generator will go critical and explode. It's like, that's cool, but this is on a blank white page with a VHS screenshot in the middle of it. And
it really is minimal to a fault. Yeah.
The power capsule looks almost like ASCII text. It's 2 parentheses, a little star in the middle. Like, no, dog, draw me a power capsule.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good example.
This looks like a pamphlet you'd put on like a phone pole.
For as much of a lore dump that manual gives you in the beginning, in terms of design, it is extremely minimalistic.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but like the list of the Mavericks, again, the art is amazing, but just listing them just one after another on a, again, stark white page with just their names underneath each of them, like, I think we could do a little bit more justice to it than this.
Oh, I have an answer, actually, and this happened recently. When I got the Hades physical on Switch when it came out, because I was excited because it was like, it includes a booklet. And when it comes home, I open it, I check the book out, and it's just key art. It's just key art of all the characters. And I'm like, no bio, no immersion, like it's just a little collectible art book. And to be honest, if it has art I've already seen before, it kind of loses its value to me. Like I don't really know what this is other than just like a platitude, pardon the term, but like I was kind of hoping for like character bios, a little bit of like Casey said earlier, like some maybe some relationship trees, like something to understand the world a little better. And it really is just like, look at these cool drawings, which they are great. They're excellent. They're amazing. But they're in the game already, and I'm seeing them when I play. So, like, what is the use of this?
Yeah, it's a little too...
I can just, like, wait for the big hardcover art book to come out later, and then this is effectively useless.
Yeah. Also...
yeah. Of the movie you're going to watch, yeah. And they're not even like good screenshots or high-res screenshots. It's just like, it's like that's the game I'm playing. I can just play it, and I can do that.
Well, thank you, Rant Howard. Our final question. Again, thank you, everyone.
I have an idea. Casey, you read the last question.
Okay, yeah, last question comes from Peony Pete. Sometimes the monster drawings in the manuals have little resemblance to sprites in the games. Are there any monster designs from a manual you'd like to see given a fresh interpretation in a game?
Because it'd have to be an older game, like NES era.
And it has to be a game that hasn't had, like, a modern redo.
Oh, well then Kid Icarus doesn't count.
Well, no, actually, you know what? Kid Icarus does count, I think.
Really?
I think so.
I really like these illustrations. I'm actually flipping through them right now. The little funny illustrations.
Yeah, I love the drawings in that one.
But also the last time Kid Icarus was updated was how long ago? At this point.
I mean, true. 2013, I think, was that 3DS game. Crazy long ago now.
Yeah, show me the coolest eggplant wizard you can draw at this point.
Yeah,
I know.
Also, like, I'm sorry, but the mallet in that game, like, it just looks like a little sign with a chunk of health bar on it. Like, when I played that game, I had no clue what that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I would love to see Kid Icarus come back with like new designs that maybe are closer to the original, these little manual illustrations I see here, or maybe just completely new, reinterpreted designs.
You really need to read the manual on this because the items are very important and they do not tell you what they do.
Maybe I just miss, like, of all fucking Nintendo IPs that I want to come back, like, give me Kid Icarus. I'll play a remake of that instead of freaking Star Fox again.
Why don't we
what an episode.
Finish? Yeah, Jesus Christ. Apparently, just talking about cool pictures got me going. Well, real quick, why don't we just end with a trip to the rec room where we recommend something inside and outside the world of gaming, hopefully a little bit faster than how we've been going so far. What you got, Jorge?
Okay, so I know what y'all are going to recommend for game, so I'm going to be the zig to your zag. And I'm going to say I've been getting into Dreamcast lately and looking into, like, basically nothing from Capcom or Sega, because that's all anyone ever talks about with Dreamcast, when there's really, like, a lot of neat little obscure titles in there that deserve a little more attention. And one of them is a game called Elemental Gimmick Gear, which is, like, a dystopian sci-fi fantasy game where you play a guy who like pilots a little robot that looks like a egg knight, an egg-shaped knight with like a little visor. Ooh. And it's like, in terms of gameplay, it's not exactly remarkable in much ways, but everything else it does so well that it keeps me captivated and keeps me playing, because it's such a mysterious little title that I've never heard of. It's one of those, like, where have you been all my life kind of games. And of course, it was in the Dreamcast. I never owned a Dreamcast, so I was never able to play it. But yeah, I've been getting into it. It's really cool. I think the closest I can compare it to is like a Zelda, like a Zelda, but like harder, like a more difficult. Honestly, I have no other way to describe it other than a top-down adventure RPG. And then for non-game recommendation, for the first time ever, surprising everyone actually, I watched American Graffiti, George Lucas's second feature film. I have never seen this movie before, and we had my father-in-law was over, and he just started gushing about it, like, oh, you've never seen it? We're gonna watch it right now. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But honestly, given how much I love Star Wars: A New Hope, and like even being kind of a fan of THX, I was surprised I've never seen American Graffiti. That was the movie that like made George Lucas popular and famous before Star Wars. And it's really cool to see to see it as a prototype of his film career, and like what actually became a hit, an original screenplay that he wrote. And then also speaking of secondhand nostalgia, having that secondhand, like, I never lived through the fucking 1960s, so like I guess I'm gonna take your word for it that this is what it was like, with some poignant things to say about what it was like to grow up then. So highly recommend it. A young Harrison Ford is in it. He's wearing a cowboy hat. It's great, and he's kind of a piece of shit, so even better. Yeah, recommend it. Little piece of history. It was produced by Francis Ford Coppola too, after the success of Godfather and the founding of American Zoetrope, their independent studio. That was like one of the first films they produced, and it made bank. It was like a success for them. So shout out to the arts.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll get to mine next. I'll start with my non-game because I feel like my game is going to segue into Casey's. My non-game is last night I saw The Backrooms, and it was pretty good.
You say The Backrooms is the thing you saw.
The A24 independent horror room. I was not stuck in a weird hallway.
No, also, you were like, last night I saw The Backrooms. I'm like, is that the full name of the movie that I just didn't know about it?
Last night I saw The Hat Man. He chased me around. It sucked. Would not recommend, actually. I saw The Backrooms last night with some coworkers, and it was really cool. I think the first act... Yeah, it's one of the biggest openings for A24. It already made its budget back.
Blue Mandalorian out of the water.
Yeah, blown out of like fucking launching Grogu into the back rooms. But yeah, it's a $10 million movie too, which is just, you don't see that. You see $1 million movies or $100 million. You don't see anything in between. And this is a movie where it it's more character driven. You see like a therapist and a man kind of in a weird slump in his life kind of discover these strange back rooms. I won't go into much, don't worry. But the performances are very good. It has a little bit of like, oh, they have like a backstory and like there's a whole reason for them like being in this situation. So that's kind of cool. Like I saw some people just wanted it to be weird and liminal, but like it does give you something to hold on to where you're like,
okay, good. That's what I was afraid of with it.
It takes place in the 90s and is not shy about showing off how fucking ugly the 90s are. It's not a 90s nostalgia piece. And the performances are very good. The soundscape and like the sound design are phenomenal. And the set design is like, it's the reason you see that film. It is to like turn the corner and be like, yo, at the like weird, table that's 45 degrees sticking out of the floor. And it's real too. Like a lot of it is not CG. So, or is like only cleaned up a little bit. A lot of it was built, like so much so that apparently the cast did get lost in the set.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So good movie. The
good room.
Good rooms. A lot of good rooms. A lot of good rooms in this movie. The first act is definitely more interesting than the second, but especially for like the director who's like kind of a baby. I don't even think he can rent a car. It's really good, and it's cool to see smaller package movies like that. So yeah, I recommend. And my game recommendation, I'm pretty sure this is also going to be Casey's, so I'm just gonna we'll just let us segue into that one. Is Mina the Hollower, baby? It's really good. Casey, was I correct? Is this your game?
So it would be, but I was saving Mina the Hollower as my special treat game to play after I successfully got through this podcast. So I have not yet begun it, but I am excited about it, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it.
I'll just be quick on it. Mina the Hollower is the new game by Yacht Club Games. They could really use your help because this game needs to be a hit. It's a little bit like, at first glance... Yeah, it's an amazing love letter to the Game Boy era of Zelda games. It looks a lot like Link's Awakening, but honestly is much closer to the Oracle games. And actually, if you grew up loving Final Fantasy Adventure specifically, the way that world feels dangerous, the way the weapons work in that game, very much like that. So you're a cute little mouse girl, you're burrowing and jumping out of the ground to like get momentum as you're dodging and weaving through enemies. You get different... weapons and different sidearms that are like Castlevania types of sidearms. There's all these little like the maps are so densely packed with like, ooh, there's a little crack there and I hit it and it blows away the wall and I get a treasure. Like it's just a feast of a found object game almost.
Something I love about the game is that attention to detail you have to have. You have to be like very present with design details and like, wait, there's a way to get back here. I just noticed it because there's a little hint. Like, I love that.
And it'll tease you stuff like that too. So I'm very, very early in. I will say people are correct. Like the early chapters are very hard because you're getting used to it and you're upgrading and you can go anywhere. Because it's kind of like a Zelda map where like you can just go out to the different sections of the map. A lot of people are recommending you go east
I got
first.
Lost. I got lost a few times.
There's no map too, but no, it's just a really cool game. You can see as I'm wearing my I'd really rather be playing Mina the Hollower t-shirt right now.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, but no, it's really cool and I want to see where it goes. So check it out.
All right,
I like it a lot.
Let's
believe
see.
the hype. It's good.
My game rec would be I recently completed the prologue demo for The Adventures of Elliot.
Tell us about it, please.
Oh yeah, that's the
new Square Enix adventure title.
Yeah, it's the new Team Asano game, and I'm a big fan of the Bravely
specifically Team Asano.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Bravely Default series. I'm a big fan of the Octopath Traveler games. And
how's Elliot doing? Tell me about him.
So I would say I'm curious about where this game is gonna go. But my initial impression, like it's been very much compared to a Zelda-like, but I think that there's quite a bit of like ease in there. There's a little bit of Final Fantasy Adventure. Funny enough, like there's
hell yeah.
You know, like it just feels like somebody is playing with like the early like Mana type roots at Square again. So it's that kind of.
That's what I thought when I saw it. Yes, it's a Mana game.
It's a Mana game. It's got boss fights. It's got some puzzle dungeons that you get through. So I mean, I understand the Zelda comparisons, but there's also other other kinds of games it's pulling from, and it feels like a Zelda game in a way that Nintendo themselves don't really make Zelda games anymore.
Oh my god.
So, but it's got a fairly cute story. I will say, if you play it, if it's the demo is anything like the complete game, the fairy sidekick does talk a lot, but you can, the game does have an option where you can either choose for them to be talkative or reticent. It is in the audio options, companion dialogue. Reticent still talks a bit, but not nearly as much. So if that annoys you, just make that switch. But otherwise, yeah, it seems like a fun, old school, adventure RPG, and I'm excited. The prologue demo is like the first 4 hours, and it does carry over into the main game. So if you like it, you can just save it and go.
That's cool.
With it. But yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'm excited to non-ironically tell people to go visit Philadelphia, which is one of the funniest RPG Kingdom names of all time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't believe it, but
get your Philadelphia cheesesteak over here.
I'm baffled that a team that gave us a game called Various Day Life would come up with the name Philadelphia.
I forgot about Various Day Life. In that fucking font too.
Yes, the greatest to ever make names, Team Asano. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I've enjoyed all their other games I've played, and I have hopes for this.
Awesome. You said the magic works for me when you're like, it's more like Ys or Mana or Final Fantasy Adventure. I'm like, fucking sold.
Yeah, it's just got that feel to it. And non-gaming, I would recommend people read the manga The Legend of Kamui, which is a 1960s ninja manga that has been getting published in the States, in North America by the publisher Drawn and Quarterly. Legend of Kamui is super important as far as ninja materials Japan go. A lot of things ninja-wise still reference it. If you have ever seen a ninja do the Izuna drop technique where they lift somebody high into the air, then drop them on their head,
shit.
That came from Legend of Kamui in the 60s.
Stop.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Kamui learns that technique by watching a weasel grab a bird out of the sky and drop it on its head. So, yeah, it's the weasel drop, and everybody is still doing it. But
also, this art is like super inky and like scratchy and chunky, and there's so much, like the pages are like 50% black and 50% white.
And
it's beautiful.
The art is gorgeous. The artist was a big lefty. So like,
I heard that actually.
He had Marxist convictions. And it really shows because the whole thing is like about class war and like how awful the samurai and the feudal society were to common people, and like the main character is kind of just like he's kind of just a drifter kid that's going through things. There's long digressions where like 100 pages will pass and you won't see a single human because you're watching wolves in the wilderness, and then it'll just go back to people.
Like, I'm looking at pictures of just fish swimming, and it's gorgeous. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's just an incredible book. I mean, it has, there's just lots of stuff about like social stratification and like, here's how the villagers suffered for, and here's how these rich people are assholes, but yeah, so
incredible.
It's an incredible series. And yeah, there's even a sequel series. But yeah, Drawn Quarterly has been putting out like 500 to 600 page omnibuses lately, and they're all really good.
Nice.
So highly recommended.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I had no idea there was a history to the Izuna drop. Like,
this is my favorite genre of like classic manga, which is what if a powerful cool guy was right all the time.
Yeah. Well, and the early volumes are like Kamui as a kid, so he's not even as cool as some of these pages you're showing me yet. Like, he's just like a brat learning this stuff as he goes.
That's great. Nice. I'll have to check it out.
So yeah, but big fan of that.
Thanks so much.
Recommend it highly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, that's incredible. I'm looking at some sexy ninja ladies, delicately
Whoa,
describing.
hang on.
And...
Are you serious?
Yeah, I sent the picture.
This has kunoichis. Oh my god. Oh my god.
They gotta warm them up, so they gotta take off their wet clothes and lay next to them.
The artist of Lone Wolf and Cub is a confirmed fan of this series, by the way.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's like awesome. Let's go. I love it. Thank you.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna check this out.
Please send this to us. I really want to check it out.
Well, this has been Brain Lords, the podcast with a little section in the back for notes. You can find us on social media at BrainLordsPod. If you made it this far, please help us grow. 5-star ratings, word of mouth, algorithmic bullshit, yada yada. Thank you for your time and patience. You can find me on social media as Cute Monster Props or my website, Cute Monster Props. Jorge, where can they find you?
You can find me Izuna dropping weasels now. Wait, no, birds. It was the birds
That's
that got
correct.
dropped.
The weasels are the droppers.
Yeah. I am a weasel. You are the bird.
Well, no, that's how you prove that you're like the top
argument.
predator is by doing it to the weasels. So.
Oh yeah, you're the apex Izuna dropper now. This is it.
Yeah, you do it while they're doing the Izuna drop. You snatch them out of the sky and do the Izuna drop on both of them.
Yeah. Okay. That's so that's where you'll find me. Just knocking the shit out of weasels out. So no, you can find me at J-Man Velas on all the horrible social media platforms everywhere, and also Art of JMV. And in Fangamer, look up collections, artists. I am there, JMV. You can see all the stuff I worked on. Don't worry about buying anything. They already paid me for it, so don't. Everyone always asks you like, "How can I support you? Should I buy your stuff?" I'm like, "Bro, they paid me for it already. Don't worry."
Yeah.
It's just.
But they did restock your Klonoa shirt, right? So
they did restock my Klonoa shirt. Thank you for the plug, Casey. That's very important. The Klonoa shirt is restocked. That has probably been like my as of recently my most prolific design. I'm very happy with it, and I'm so glad that
you ought to be.
that Namco really liked it. So I was very happy about that. So yeah, that's it. Hey, and where can people find you, Casey, our esteemed guest? Thank you so much for joining us.
For now, you can find me on Blue Sky at MinovskyArticle, where I will, if I come up with anything else to do or plug, you can find there. And I also just want to plug doing things and caring about those things. Just like the people who made the effort to make a really cool manual, just apply yourself and chase your curiosities wherever they go.
There you go. Give
do
shit.
some DIY shit. Go make some figurines or a zine, or just read some manuals and just feel something.
Yo, look at a bird.
Yeah, exactly.
How therapeutic it is to just look at a freaking bird.
Yeah. Just don't give in to nihilism. Just find a new curiosity.
No.
Find a new hobby. Just do something that doesn't burn you out. That's the plug.
Yeah,
Actually,
also, here's my recommendation is make a good t-shirt for the Great Dismal Swamp, because I tried looking and I can't find any good ones.
All right, we're gonna talk to the Great Dismal Tourism Bureau.
Yeah. And wait, what's the name of the other swamp?
The Okefenokee.
Fuck the Okefenokee swamp. You heard it here, folks. Anyway,
the land of the trembling earth is a really cool phrase. Come on, that's.
That is amazing. That is a really good line. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I know this episode went way longer than we expected. But rest assured, it is still not our longest episode.
And for good reason too. So
this episode lasted longer than the heyday of manuals.
God.
I wish we could end it on that.
We can and we will. Woo. Wait, shit. No, I have to plug some things.
Yeah. Come on, Kyle.
Yeah. No, actually, really quick. We did a panel at Momocon, and we'll get into that later, but it went really well. We've got the footage for it, and we'd like to put that up online for anyone that wasn't able to be there.
By the time this is up, probably not, but hopefully soonish after it will be up.
In the near future, you'll have a fun panel about cursed Switch eShop games. Think of it as a found footage festival for the most bizarre Nintendo games you've ever seen.
Wow, you're quoting my friend Mikey. Shout out to Mikey.
Thank you, Mikey.
He does the best compliment I had when I told him about the panel.
In the meantime, though, questions, comments, inquiries can go to brainlordspod@gmail.com. You can find all our posts and solicitations for questions on our Blue Sky. You can find videos of this and shorts and more on our YouTube and all other places where podcasts are born. We have been your Brain Lords for this evening or this afternoon and morning.
This
we'll
day. This was
reminding
a Sunday of video games.
Yes, on this holy day of video games, reminding you that context beats content every single time.
Praise be to Brain Lord. On the seventh day, thou shalt talk of video games.
I can do that, trust me. on the next episode of Brain Lords. The Nintendo Switch eShop was once what carried the system into one of the best-selling consoles of all time, but is now a cesspool rank with asset flip games, low-effort games, and AI-riddled hentai puzzle games. We explore what happened that turned the eShop into the eSlop in Brain Lords Live, Cursed Nintendo eShop Games, plus bonus commentary from us, the Brain Lords.